that.
The president has told the Financial Times that taking Iran's oil terminal on Karg Island is among lots of options being considered. That would require ground troops. Thousands of US Marines are now in the region. President Trump also said his favourite thing would be to take the oil in Iran, but also claimed a ceasefire deal could be reached fairly quickly.
Fox's Jonathan Savage in London. The president tells reporters on Air Force One flying back from Florida to D.C. last night he's okay with a Russian oil tanker delivering fuel to Cuba, breaking what's effectively been a blockade against that. Airport TSA agents are expected to getting paid checks as soon as today, diverting other Homeland Security funds to pay for it during this now 45-day-long partial government shutdown.
It follows President Trump's executive order to fund the agency during a DHS funding stalemate in Congress. Agents have been working without pay due to a partial government shutdown that has now become the longest in U.S. history. It's forced agents to call off and quit, causing travelers to face hours-long waits. ICE agents are expected to continue to help out at airports for the time being.
It's Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. Most of the more than 3,000 No Kings anti-Trump protests around the country on Saturday were peaceful. Dozens of people in Los Angeles, though, were hauled off by police.
The Department of Homeland Security reported a group of about 1,000 people surrounding a federal detention center. Rioters threw rocks, bottles, and pieces of cement blocks. And DHS says 2 of their officers were hit, requiring medical treatment. LAPD says they made 75 arrests, and officers were seen using tear gas and pepper spray on people in the crowd who wouldn't disperse. One person in the crowd scrawled, "Kill your local ICE agent" in spray paint on the outside of the federal building.
Fox's Max Gordon in L.A. Organizers report more than 8 million people showed up for this third round of mass protests. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage that big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los on your Monday. Glad that you're here. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know Front Office Los did. We'll get to some of that in just a second. Braves had a big weekend. Last second 3-pointers in the NCAA tournament. God, so much to talk about. And then, I mean, there was some kind of gathering here and there, across the country. We'll talk about some of those silly gooses a little later.
They require a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, that's right.
Is how I would put it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great way to put it.
But they were the butt of a lot of jokes amongst the parents that I was around over the weekend.
That's good. Yeah, well,
a lot of images being sent to one another in jokes. Just what it is.
I love it. That's awesome. So, let's start with your weekend, man. Daughter played very well. Daughter's team, and I'll let you spill the beans.
The 11-year-olds have a bid.
Let's go.
After finishing second in Orlando, no bid. Third in Minneapolis, no bid. You got to win to get a bid. They won Big South. So the first bid that has been awarded for that tournament, which will be more today.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's a 3-day tournament for the older girls. Then the second part of that will be this upcoming weekend where my daughter will play Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
My older daughter. And so, yeah, they got it done.
Dude, that's
all set.
Awesome.
Going to Minneapolis.
A national bid is
Man,
so cool.
And the video that Big South put out,
yeah,
I sent it over to you. It was so cool.
Dude,
some good work that they do.
That's the thing. I think that kids sports these days, they have over everybody else. It looks no different than what you would see for the NCAA tournament.
It is like when you see the promo videos every single weekend, for Georgia, and it'll have like images from the game and here's how they put stuff together. Those professionals that now do that are worth their weight in gold in today's marketplace. And man, the work that they did looks so cool.
But your oldest, man, she does stuff like that all the time.
She does that quite a bit too.
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't take a team. You know, we joked about some of the shows like The View having 150 people operating them, and our show has 3.
Right.
Like
we managed to do things with 3.
Exactly. And so when you think about the ability that your daughter has to put that stuff together, and it looks no different than what you see on national television, that's the coolest, man. We just didn't have that even 5 years ago.
And I look back on some of those from even 4 years ago when my older daughter, when she was 12, they won that tournament. It's a tough tournament to win. So to then have now both girls who have won that tournament.
That's awesome.
But we only had like one image they took of like, it was a pretty cool video when the girls are 12.
Yeah.
This was like a promo for the 11-year-olds, like how they look and all this compilation of videos and shots and parents and grandparents. And then at the end, everybody on stage were going to Minneapolis. It was cool. It was really cool.
That's
Loved
really awesome, man.
It made the weekend. Like I said, it was one of those where I just kept looking at it going like, that is so much fun.
I know, dude. How many times did you watch? Because I watched it 2 or 3.
I'm like 10 times at this point.
I've watched it
I might
at
just
least
have to
3.
put that out there in the world. Just be like, here, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, check this out. This is good. I went and saw my son play this weekend, and it did not go as well. They got swept by the number 14 team in the country.
You found out 14's pretty good.
Who looked like the number 14 team in the country. But it was funny. So Saturday night, Jacob has a bunch of friends on the other team, right? And so he wanted to go, because he hadn't seen those guys in like a year. He's like, I want to go to dinner with a couple of my buddies. But I don't know if he thought it would be weird or for his current teammates, or because we'd gotten invited, by a couple of the parents. It's almost like it was the travel days where everybody was going to gather, and it was an early game, so 3 game was over at 6, and everybody was like, "Hey, y'all coming along?" We're like, we're not sure quite yet. Try to figure out. Because I wasn't sure what to say.
How to manage that situation.
I knew what we were doing, but I didn't know how to say it. So I was like, I'm not sure exactly what we're doing. So anyway, we ended up and had dinner with a couple of his buddies that he played summer ball with over the summer, and a guy that he was at Charleston with that he's been buds with forever. So sitting down with those boys and talking about their team, which is, again, the number 14 team in the nation, was really cool, and to catch up with them because they're good kids, and I've seen them play for so many years, and I'm so glad for them to have such success. But it was awkward trying to navigate it. And one parent seemed a little put off, like what is it? What, y'all too good? You too good? They even said it a couple times. They said it in jest, but I don't think they meant it in jest.
Well, we're at the point now, as we're getting to the end of our qualifying season, and now people start looking towards nationals, but also people start looking towards next season.
Sure.
Now it's sitting down and having drinks with parents and going like, so what are y'all's planning for next year?
Well, but I would imagine.
What are y'all thinking about doing?
Yeah, because you have kids in 2 different organizations. Now you have a perspective that not every parent does, so they probably pick your brain a little
bit. And that's been helpful to explain the difference in the 2, and the stuff that we like from one, the stuff that we like from the other, the stuff that we wish was different. And so, it's intel, all right?
Yeah,
like all the parents are searching for more intel. And even in the college game, with where the portal is and what's going on, kids move around now.
Absolutely. Jacob's talking to 2 kids that he played with, one at Charleston that went to Florence Darlington, which is a JUCO, but they're a nationally ranked JUCO and are every year. He's trying to recruit,
trying to bring him in
to come in, and then there's one pitcher that he's, I forget where he's at. Anyway, he was like, there's a pitcher that I'm working on trying to get in. Oh, he's at Charleston. That's what it is, because they all 3 played together. So he's in recruiting mode. It's funny you say that. We physically just had that conversation at dinner.
You're having a dinner, you're having drinks with the parents, and the parents are so what's it been like? Yeah. And that's how that's how it starts.
But it's funny that it doesn't change from 11U to the college circuit.
11U to 21, 22. And this is what I told the parents when we were having some lunch yesterday. I said, right now, I was like at 10, 11, 12, 13, I'm like, this is the most fun.
It is, totally.
I go, stuff gets weird as they get into recruiting years. I was like, now things get really stressful and people get very upset.
Yep.
I was like, so this is the fun time. I was like, but if you can find a fun time as you get into your recruiting years, well, then that's the best scenario. So always look for that.
Yes, absolutely. And the game changes for sure. The intensity, the level of competition, all that changes. Just keep your eye on the prize, which is making sure that your kid's in a good situation and enjoying what they do, because there's nothing worse than being in that situation you're talking about, Los, where it's not good and you wish you would have made a better decision. And you put your kid at a disadvantage just merely by being in a position that they don't enjoy anymore. And that when you're paying that kind of money, especially with travel ball, goodness gracious, make sure your kids at least smile and at least enjoy the people around you, because you never know how the season's going to go.
Spoke to a dad, some friends of ours that we played with, our younger daughters both played together last year, and he was talking about his older daughter. And he's like, it almost feels like she's losing the love for this thing because of the pressure and what's going on. And that's what I told him. I go, listen, my 13-year-old year for my daughter was like that. I was like, it took 14 and now 15 for her to be like, man, I love this thing again. And it's like, sometimes it just happens.
To get corralled back in there. Well, always good to hear about kids doing good. Braves had a big opening series versus the Kansas City Royals. Not a sweep, but two big, huge wins.
Saturday night couldn't have been more poetic. If you love sports,
it was awesome.
This weekend, between what happened in the men's tournament and what happened at Truist Park, to see a guy like Dom Smith who comes in and he was very quiet about it, but once he hit the game-winning grand slam and to find out lost his mother on the 15th due to cancer, and how the team had rallied around him, didn't make it public,
of course,
but then decided, hey, this is your first time. And I saw this from Elias Sports Bureau that tracks all sorts of crazy information. It is the first time in the history of Major League Baseball that a player making his debut for a team hit a walk-off grand slam.
How many years have they been playing Major League Baseball?
Over 100.
120.
We're at 100 and whatever, like 150 at this
150,
point.
Yeah.
First time
it just, you hardly ever hear that anymore. The very first time something has happened, and for him to have it happen to him the way it did, because I had fallen asleep. Like we were watching the game.
Tugglesworth.
Well, no, it was
Mr. Tuggle.
It was probably the 8th, and I was falling asleep. You know how you watch and then you wake back up and watch it. I woke back up right after the home run, and I'm like, what has happened? And then obviously they go through the replays, and I'm celebrating like I'd gone from falling asleep to getting up out of the bed at the hotel room and doing I'm dancing. This is great.
Well, I understand.
I woke my sweet wife up. She's like, what is wrong with you?
I understand, because until the 9th inning, the Braves had nothing going.
Dude, it was slow.
In fact, in the 8th inning,
when they scored that second run, actually, that's when I was like, oh, God.
Well, in the 8th inning, which you were probably nodding off for.
Yep.
So Michael Harris II leads off the 8th with a single, and you're like, okay, you're down 2-0. You got a good base runner on. Here comes the leadoff hitter, and they pick him off of first base. You're like, dude, where are you going? Like, nobody gets picked off of first base with your run. Like, it's important, but it doesn't matter yet.
Yeah, right.
And so that was the moment when I thought, okay, that's going to be the end of the day. This is going to be problematic. We're going to see how this is all going to play out. And then to see how it ended up playing out, where the Braves get a rally going in the 9th inning and things end up working out in their fashion, to then have the grand slam ended after it was 2-2. It was just between that and then what happened yesterday evening to Duke. And I know they wear the black hat a lot. They're a 1 seed.
Always.
But
everybody pulls against Duke.
Doesn't happen very often. I think we had this in the tournament maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, but it was an opening round game. To see Duke turn the ball over up 2 with 10 seconds left, and UConn to hit a 3.
Big 3 ball.
From the logo.
Like Steph Curry style.
73-72, and Duke is now out. Now the Final Four is set.
And so we have, again, it goes back to relationships, right? We have a dear friend of our family, their daughter, and I've known her since we called her Baby Charlotte.
Okay.
And now she does all the stuff that you were just talking about that we started with, the cool videos, the production, the social media posts. She does that for UConn. And
that's
so
cool.
This is such an adventure for her. This is year 2. She started doing it for the football team. Why? Because That's what they do. Freshmen go to the football team because everybody wants to be with the marquee team. The UConn Huskies basketball team been to I think the number's 26 years, 26 times that they've been to the Final Four. So she started out with the football team, and she never complained. Everything they asked her to do, she did, and she did exceptional work. And at the end of her freshman year after the football, the basketball team actually invited her to come as a freshman.
Pretty complimentary.
Yeah, huge. So to see this blow up for her, I have no connection to UConn at all, except for now. And so I'm cheering for them because of her.
So my wife was in D.C. She had a conference that was going on just a few days, and the hotel they were staying in also had UConn, Duke, everybody was taking part in that D.C. East region.
Sure.
And so you had all the teams there, and they're all, going at it, doing their thing. And she tells the story, one of her coworkers is a big UConn fan, and he saw their coach in the elevator.
Oh, it's Bobby Hurley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as, they kind of chatted for a moment, it's other people, business people, and here's the coach.
Yeah.
And he tells him, y'all are going to win this thing. And he looked the coach at him. He goes, no, we're going to effing win this thing. And now they were like, yeah, because again, how rare is it that you get a UConn grad in and out who's not there for the game? He's there on business.
Yeah,
runs into the head coach of the basketball team, dude. And this is how it goes down. So just a really cool weekend for her coworkers and everybody else as well.
For sure. So Final Four: Illinois, UConn, Michigan, Arizona.
I've thought from watching this year, I believe that from the start of the year through the year, I thought Michigan was the best team in basketball, but Arizona is right there. I mean, to me, really it's good. Those two. And Michigan's just so freaking big. If they hit shots, they're tough to beat. And so I hope we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out Saturday night.
I don't know that you can call UConn a Cinderella, but the way that game ended against Duke, it kind of felt that way.
It was an amazing, cool
it's
finish.
like the Grand Slam. It was magic. It was magical. Yes.
It's like if you were there and you saw it, you went, whoa.
It'll be something you never forget.
And as soon as it did occur, I went over to my wife and go, you have to see this. As I'm like backing things up and rewinding, and she just goes, oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, boy, that's especially for Duke fans. And they're not used to losing, dude.
I'm not a Duke hater.
Me either.
But I get it. There's going to be people that look at them as the Black Hat team. They are the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball.
The Yankees.
Yeah, very much so. They're Duke. So when you beat them, then let's face it, UConn has been a better program versus Duke in the last 5-6 years. Yeah. But it's not Duke.
It doesn't matter. It's not Duke.
It's not Duke.
It's so much fun.
I mean, for years when I had friends of mine who had grown up and they were big ACC basketball fans, it would always be ABC, anyone but Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I remember
Then that moved to Duke.
Yeah.
So it was like those were always the two every year
Carolina
in the tournament.
Fire their coach?
Yeah, Carolina's moved on from Hubert Davis. That's a top 5-6 job in the country.
Yeah, I don't know who you pull.
Well, they've always had the issue of trying to find a Carolina man.
That's right.
In the same way that Alabama football had it for years. We got to have somebody off the Bear Bryant tree. Yeah. And then after that didn't work out, they're like, why don't we go get the best coach in the country?
What do you say?
Why don't we go get Nick Saban?
Yeah.
At some point, you might move away from, you need a Carolina man.
Yeah, and at some point might be now. They may be
You're not supposed to lose in the first round of ECU and blow, I think it was like a 19-point lead.
Yeah. If you're Georgia, you're not expected to make it very far. Now, you shouldn't have lost to St. Louis. But again, it's not like there's any sort of lineage, any sort of history, No,
you're waiting for spring football.
That's right.
And then football season to start.
And the baseball team looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much in basketball, which is sad, and I've said this before, that Georgia and Georgia Tech should be the best two teams, or at least up there, competitive. They've never been, and probably, at least Tech has some sort of history. But both of those teams should be incredible in basketball with all the recruiting it's here, and nobody goes.
It's about your coach. And I think the further we get away from it, and I heard my friends over down the hall, Chuck and Chernoff, talking about this.
Oh, yeah?
The Bobby Cremins era for Georgia Tech, when they were as good as they were, those were the salad days.
Yeah, but that's been a long time ago.
And it's been a long time. And now you're starting to recognize that You had a little bit of that with Paul Hewitt because he got to kind of glom on to a little bit of the end of the Bobby Cremins era. And since then, they have just been an afterthought in ACC basketball. And so it's about finding the right coach, and you just got to get it going for about 2 years and things take off. But until then, you're kind of stuck in this malaise.
I just did a quick search, Lethal Weapon 3.
Lethal Weapon 3.
That was 89-90 at Georgia Tech. Kenny Anderson, Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver.
Yeah.
89-90,
We're a long ways away from the era of like the Matt Harperings of the world.
Yeah, no kidding. So if you wonder if Tech can, eventually someday come, maybe they can. Gosh, it'd be nice to have some Georgia, basketball representation. I mean, we got Kennesaw State, so I don't leave out Kennesaw State, but I don't know.
Had our top scorer transfer, so.
Oh, well, that's not good. So
got that bag. Got that bag, baby.
That mid-major level basketball. That's just what you get.
Yep. You groom them, they turn into players, they move on to the next place.
Where did it go to?
I don't know. He just announced yesterday.
Okay. Gotta get that bag.
About to get paid.
Gotta get that bag.
Our last time we had somebody enter, he went to Louisville. So
yeah. But Los is so right. Same thing happened to College of Charleston when Jacob was there. They had that big run for a couple years, ended up in the tournament, and the one kid that was the linchpin also went to Louisville.
The best pitcher in the country a couple years ago was at Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Skeens went to LSU and then got that bag.
Yes, he did. God bless America. When we continue, the Republicans under the Gold Dome are giving the Democrats a taste of their own medicine. Next on Extra 106.3, 6 o'clock hours, brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
It's official. President Trump has endorsed Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is a trusted Trump conservative who's leading the fight to end Georgia's state income tax.
He's going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia. Burt Jones has my complete and total endorsement.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given was the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 30th, and here are your headlines. A new Vietnam Veterans Memorial was unveiled at Piedmont Park over the weekend, honoring 240 soldiers from Atlanta and Fulton County who never returned home. The ceremony included a parade, ribbon cutting, and speakers from across Georgia, with the memorial featuring a wall engraved with the names of fallen heroes. Despite the stuffy noses, Atlanta is not ranked one of the worst cities in the country for seasonal allergies this year, ranking 34th nationwide. Doctors say pollen levels are still above average, and experts recommend starting treatment as early as possible, as larger pollen counts will continue to worsen symptoms. And finally, in Marietta, the Georgia National Guard has reopened the newly renovated South Cobb Readiness Center after an $11 million upgrade. 78th Troop Command facility will serve as the headquarters for Troop Command units, who will continue to support unit mobilizations and oversee deployment training missions while maintaining steady operational tempo in support of domestic response missions at home. Today's weather will be mostly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. We give the Republicans a pretty hard time, and most of the time they deserve it. I want to tell you about one place that the Republicans seem to be doing something that I think is relatively smart. Los, we talk about how Nancy Pelosi was just able to wrangle cats when it came to politics and the Democrat politics. We oftentimes say we wish we had a Nancy Pelosi in our party that could just get it done. And I think that the Republicans here in Georgia have done something that has Nancy Pelosi-style fingerprints on it. When people vote in elections in and around metro counties, they usually just pull the lever for the party because it's way down ticket. It's for local county commissioners and city council. And all
I've never heard of him, but he has an R next to his or her name.
That's exactly the way it goes, right?
Right.
And in the metro counties, it's all Democrats. So they just hit the button for the D, whatever it is. They don't care. So what the Republicans have decided to do, they're going to take party affiliation off the ballot. I think this is such a genius move. I mean, it is fighting like Democrats dirty. It is dirty. But the Republicans might have a chance in Atlanta by doing this. I mean, the Republican-controlled Senate just passed this bill to make every election in 5 metro counties nonpartisan except for the sheriff and the coroner. I mean, Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Cobb, and Clayton. If this passes the House, the Democrats, of course, mad about it. But if it passes the House, then it wouldn't be. There would be no RD. So you just have to vote for who you think is right, dude. It is sneaky. It's Nancy Pelosi style, and I love it.
I like the idea that you're now asking voters to actually know who the person is,
right?
Which might take you a little bit of extra research. Okay, fine. If you're being an informed voter, responsible voter, you should. And it also, there's nothing that keeps you from going to a website, printing off the information to know who the Republican is. And guess what? Then you bring that with you to the ballot box in order to go through that process. So sorry if this is just a little bit of an add-on of know what you're doing before you get in there. I think that's just asking for an extra layer of responsibility. I have no problem with it. In fact, I think it's kind of fun.
I do too, and it's dirty.
I'm not having to, am I having to pay a poll tax? No.
It's dirty, and I love it. That's what I'm saying. The Republicans have beaten the Democrats at their own game if it gets to the House anyway.
I mean, does it keep you in any way based on your race from voting?
No.
Or your sexuality?
No.
So explain to me that the requirement to know a little bit more of who you're voting for is somehow a terrible thing.
If it weren't for Fani Willis's involvement in the Trump case, nobody would know who the district attorney of Fulton County is. I mean, very few people would know who that is. And she's won, even though she completely botched it, even though she just is not good at her job, even though she got her boo to be part of the case, and that got her in trouble too. She still got reelected. Because she had a D next to her name. If you pull that off, dude, this changes everything. I think this could put the Republicans in a really good position just by physically having your name on the ballot to win. Because unless those people, like you're saying, unless people go to websites, which are there's a million websites telling you who's running, what their stances on issues are, what they believe, what they don't believe. That's all out there. It's not like it's hidden from you. But just removing the R and the D would keep someone like Fani Willis from being elected, or at least elected easily, especially after she botched everything that she was part of that shouldn't have happened to begin with. But in the fact that she did it, she still got it wrong and isn't good at her job. So I think it's awesome.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, because we got to take this thing up a notch.
Okay.
Tug, we're going to have you as a resident of Fulton County.
I am, yeah.
We're going to have you run for some sort of important office.
I love it. Just not coroner or sheriff, because those are still listed R&D.
But we're going to change your name. You'll now be Amir Johnson X.
Okay, I love that. Yes. That sounds like a Twitter handle.
And we're going to continue to find other people that we can either change or who already have a corresponding name where when you stare at that, you happen to be a resident of, let's say you live in College Park, and you're staring at this and you're going, this is really difficult to figure out who the Democrat is. But Amir Johnson X sounds like he's probably it.
It's probably that guy.
That guy. And then sure enough, he gets
surprise. That's what I'm saying, dude. This is why when I read this, I was like, this is dirty. This is dirty politics. And I'm here for it. This is the first time the Republicans, I think, have ever impressed me, Los. Surprise! It's me, Tug.
People oftentimes, and it's just a tribalistic nature, a lot of times people will vote for people that look like them. And the only thing that distinguishes them is the R or D next to their name. Oftentimes, because there are plenty of good, strong black Republicans that would probably do just as good a job, if not better, considering what the situation has been of representing those communities. And the only reason has been this systematic belief that as long as you're black and Democrat, that somehow you'll represent areas of Fulton County better. And that has been wrong for a long time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's good. It's fun. I just giggled last night when I was reading this. I was like, no wonder the Democrats are pissed. They know this is going to cut into their voting because nobody was going to know who the Democrat is, or the majority of people going to the ballot is going to have no idea. Dude, there's been times that I went to the ballot and I would either just not vote on a particular post because I had no idea. I mean, it's happened to me before. I got there and I was like, I don't know any of those people. And what did I do? I went with the R. It's the same thing that happens on the Democrat side. And if you remove all that, dude, things get so interesting and fun.
What we're going to do is we're going to take your middle name and we're going to change your last name. So maybe you go to Johnson for like 6 months or for whatever the campaign is. So Lamont Johnson, that's some camouflage, man.
No kidding. That's right. Yeah.
You got to go like, I can't detect which one is the white guy.
Surprise! It's me.
I heard there was a white guy running in this. I voted for Lamont.
I could have been him. Surprise! My mom and daddy watched a lot of Sanford Son. Y'all had no idea. My sister's name is Siobhan. My brother's name is Lamar. Nobody would see it coming, man.
Nobody would see it coming.
Because they'd be like, what's your brother's name? Lamar. Well, damn.
But,
that's camouflage, too. What's the sister name, Siobhan? Oh! Drat!
Got him.
That's why I thought it was so funny, man. When I read this last night, I was like, the Republicans have finally figured out how to play dirty.
It's a good trick.
It is. And that's exactly what it is, man. It's a trick and nothing more than a trick. And I love it. Now, when it comes to the Democrat Party, I will say Liberal John, when he calls in the 9 o'clock hour occasionally, he's like, I love this country. And he does not give up the flag. Like normally, if you're driving through a neighborhood, you see a flag, you're like, oh, that's a conservative family. I bet they're Republicans. Liberal John goes against that. He was like, I love this country. I love the flag. Now, we have way different ways of looking at how we run the country and how things should be done. But when it comes to the Democrat Party as a whole, Los, it's clear they do not share the value that Liberal John does. They do not love this country, and they make it clear every time they get a chance.
It is the anti-American party for a reason. I've called it that for several months. I've said that the easiest way to understand what is going on in this country in terms of why one party is working one way, the other, is to understand that one is working against every interest possible that is American. A party that has casted its lot as far as its ability to maintain power and to gain more power behind terrorists and behind illegals. That's where they have pushed. And anything that portrays American strength is something that they're going to vote down and will do whatever they can to not have it play out in a way that would be advantageous to the country. The whole idea of MAGA, that's the worst thing in the world. Well, finally, I believe this is poll tested well enough. Because we had Dr. Rich McCormick who brought it up. We've now had more Republicans that are bringing it up. And then yesterday, when you had the meeting in the cabinet, Donald Trump actually brought this up to the American people. Take a listen.
I don't care about the Democrats. The Democrats hate our country. The Democrats are in chaos right now, and they have no common sense. They have one quality that's amazing. They stick together. And it's harder because they stick together in a ridiculous policy like men playing in women's sports, open borders for everybody, including murderers and anybody else that want it. We're open to you. Come in, murderers. You know why they do that? They do that for a couple of reasons, but they do it for votes because they think they're going to vote for the Democrats, even though I did great with the Hispanic vote, tremendous with the Hispanic vote. I turned that whole thing around. The Hispanics like me and I like them. And it's interesting with the Hispanics. When I built the wall, everybody said, oh, that's going to ruin us for the Hispanic. It was just the opposite. They know all about immigration and they know all about death and crime, and they're smart people and they have common sense. They wanted to be protected from the people that were coming into our country. So, I won the election with a very tremendous Hispanic vote, and I think it's higher now than it was then. So we're a party of common sense. The Democrats are a party of insanity. They're a party that will destroy our country. If I didn't win this election, I believe our country would have been destroyed.
Now, when he finishes up with that, and I think it's the big picture view of what we have to understand, the Democrats know what happened in 2020. They had to cheat so incredibly hard that you've now had 23 million mail-in votes that have disappeared. All right? You had a situation where Joe Biden had 81 million votes, and suddenly 9 million of those disappeared.
Just disappeared out of thin air. Boop,
I believe that the entire party said, we cheated this hard, we won. This is the one time we're going to have a chance to do all of this craziness. And that's what they went for. Open borders, tampons in the bathroom, cutting off your appendages, all the crazy stuff they could possibly come up with. They knew 4 years, we're done. Let's go for all the crazy. The problem is some of them haven't gotten the notice that it's time to end the crazy. And so he's right. Like, you were self-destructive towards the country for 4 years. And then when you got your butt whooped by a guy facing all these felonies and all this stuff, and he's a predator and all the things you came up with, yet he won easily.
Yeah.
You didn't think to yourself, hey, maybe we should tone down the crazy a little bit.
No, and as a matter of fact, it seems like they're ratcheting it up more now.
That's all they know how to do now.
They've decided we're not even going to pretend to subscribe to anything that normal, regular, everyday Americans think, like, or care about. Anything, whatever that is, we're going the opposite direction because our voting base has now become the outcasts, right? There's not regular, everyday Americans voting for the Democrat Party, I don't believe. And if I'm wrong about that, 404-741-1230, because I can't see how a regular, everyday American would see any of those things that you just laid out, Los, and go, yeah, I'm all for that. Tampons in a man's bathroom? In the men's room? Get out of here.
It's the working class that is completely gone.
Yeah, that's right.
It's now become this version of these people that view themselves as enlightened. They've somehow cornered this marketplace of, well, if you're voting for us, it's because you're smarter than everyone else. Like,
I'm not sure. Like, I just saw.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Biology would say that your antics are wrong. You can be careful with people that are suffering with mental illness. I have an aunt that suffers from mental illness, and she is in a facility because if she's left to her own devices, things are going to be very, very hard for her, and have been her whole life. She struggled with mental illness. So you can care about people who are mentally ill, and that's what like the transgender thing is. It's a mental illness. You can care about those people and hope that they get the help that they need, and not embrace the craziness that they're saying that they are. You know what I mean? Like, you can care about people. I care about people. I think most people care about others, to a degree. And yet the Democrat Party's like, no, we don't want to get them help. We want to affirm the crazy. If I were to do that to my aunt who's in a facility in Marietta, if I were to do that to my aunt, she'd be dead right now. If my parents were to have done that, she'd be dead right now. None of that makes sense, Los, and I think most Americans look at it and understand that it don't make sense. It's the truth, man, and it's hurtful, and it's hard to say. And I love my aunt. Man, she was wonderful. She was the first person in my family to graduate college. Zell Miller handed her diploma when it was called Dalton Junior College. The first person in my family. And instead of saying, hey, we need to help these folks, they're doing the exact opposite. Let's affirm the crazy and tell them they're just fine. It makes no sense, and I think most Americans see through that. You can be compassionate, but compassionate doesn't always mean give your kid what it wants. If it wants to eat 15 chocolate bars before bedtime, you probably shouldn't do that. Now, am I reducing it down to something ridiculous? Absolutely. But it still illustrates the point that you have to give people what they need, not always what they want.
Yeah, if they oversleep the bus, it's not like you reward them with, a night out with their friends.
Right, or a sleepover.
Right? I mean, that's, which is not how it exactly goes.
No, it's exactly right, man. So when the Democrats, or when Donald Trump says the Democrats don't love this country, I believe that they are correct. I believe that he is correct. I don't believe that they do. They tell you how horrible it is. They tell you that it's not worthy. They tell you that it's less than. With regularity. I don't remember the last time I heard anybody outside of John Fetterman say this is a great country and it deserves to be handled with care.
Well, victimhood mentality is so corrosive. You can't turn it off, ever. You have to view everything. I saw one woman, and she was, I'm trying to remember what she was from. She was like on the city council, and she was complaining about I get up every day black, and I have to deal with this. And I'm black.
Yeah, I saw she was in Chicago, I believe.
Okay, so or city councilwoman in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay, all right,
yeah, I saw it late last night.
Okay, yeah.
But she's sitting there, and she's making every excuse in the book as she sits on city council in the city of Minneapolis, yet all the issues that she gets up black, just to deal with this stuff black. Once you buy into whatever your victimhood status is, now everything's the enemy, and you can never actually enjoy fruits of your labor. And that's part of what the communists will always try and thrive on. They want the people that are completely angry. They want them that have bought into victimhood. And as you see within the party, because it's so prevalent now on the Democrat side, they have to look at their country as the enemy that has wronged them.
Yeah.
It again, corrosive. It doesn't stop just at my school, my boss. It's my entire being.
Yeah. Everything.
And it's all y'all's fault.
As soon as I wake up, my day's bad, and it's your fault. There are people that don't subscribe to that. I think more people don't subscribe to that than do, and that would the indicator I have is that Donald Trump swept all the swing states because people are tired of that victim way of thinking. They're tired of hearing that their country is not salvageable. They're tired of saying, "Oh, you being born here, that's just the same as somebody that came here that hates the country. It's the exact same." It's not, and people are fed up with it. And I think that's why you saw Trump win the way he did. And I think as we head into the midterms, I think people will really confirm that. Can we lose the midterms? Sure. But if we do, it's our own dang fault for not getting out there and letting people know what is happening and what will happen if you allow the Democrats to be elected again. They will kick that door wide open again. You know they will. They're telling you they're going to. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Yesterday, Palm Sunday. This is it's Holy Week. And I'm celebrating. I know a lot of people are celebrating Holy Week. RFK's message of recovery is perfect for this week. I want you to hear from him. Next on the Morning Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 30th. The Final Four is now set as the final two teams advanced on Sunday in the men's college basketball tournament. 1 seed Michigan breezed past Tennessee, 95-62, the final in the game of the day in the East region. 1 seed Duke is now out after an improbable last-second turnover and three-point shot that sends them to a 73-72 loss to UConn. Those teams now join Illinois and Arizona in the Final Four Saturday night. The Braves, they took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend despite a 4-1 home loss to end the series on Sunday. The Braves will host the Athletics starting Monday evening for the first of a 3-game series before heading out west to Arizona for a Thursday evening matchup with the Diamondbacks. Again, all of the action being heard on our sister station, 680 The Fan and the Fan app. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year. Help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand. Look him in the eye and say, "I appreciate you, little fella." And we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafehouse.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
It's March 30th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Virtual Vacation Day. We all need to take some time away from the job to rest, rejuvenate, and refocus. But what if we didn't need to leave our homes to visit the beaches of Australia, climb some of the world's highest mountains, or even visit another planet? That's the beauty of virtual reality technology. A VR headset could be all you need to help unwind from a tough week at the office, or if you simply need some me time to reset. Also on this date, in 1867, the U.S. signs a treaty with Russia which finalized the purchase of Alaska for $7.2 million, or roughly 2 cents per acre. Secretary of State William H. Seward was ridiculed for the deal as members of Congress called the purchase Seward's folly. And in 2020, the International Olympic Committee announced the postponement of the Summer Games in Tokyo, Japan, due to the global coronavirus pandemic. It will be held in the summer of 2021. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Monday through Saturday, we're right. But on Sunday, we turn left.
Daytona International Speedway, we love our country, and it's truly an honor to be with all of you at the Great American Race. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Your home of NASCAR is Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here. Los had a big weekend with sports. I had a big weekend in sports. Some of the crazies in the world, they had big weekends too. I guess protesting kings and
on display.
Yeah, my favorite was in London. Protesting no kings with the king.
Yeah, no, it's so dumb, dude. Our favorite, Senator Mazie Hirono.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm just going to say this. When we talk about the best and brightest among us,
yes.
Listen, they're on our side.
Yeah.
Okay? There's some people where I'll be like, oh, don't let that person talk anymore. She should never talk ever again for the Democrats or be anywhere near a microphone ever, ever, ever.
Please let her keep talking.
Like, for the sake of your own party, do not let that woman speak in public anymore.
For the sake of our party and the country, please let her continue to talk. Because Los is exactly right. She's going to say something kind of like what she tweeted. And I guess this was Saturday night. And her tweet, Donald Trump is not, never will be, and has never been a king. # no kings. Tim Burchett, our favorite from Tennessee, he quote tweets it and says, then why the fuss? If he's not, never will be, and has never been a king, what's this bought and paid for protest about?
I'm glad it took until Sunday for a lot of people to come around to my way of thinking. The point was, these are the people that masked up, that told you couldn't go to work, that told you that you had to take the government jab. These are the ones that were so compliant with government authoritarianism that as long as it's their own authoritarianism, they're fine with it.
That's exactly right, dude.
You lost an election. We'll see you in the fall, but you lost in 2024. You still, in my opinion, haven't beaten Donald Trump. You didn't beat him in 16. Didn't look like you beat him in 20. You certainly didn't beat him in 2024, where you lost all 7 swing states and the popular vote. So tell me again about what you're out there in the streets for, because you're not winning.
No, you're not. And the whole Donald Trump must go. No, he mustn't. No,
he gets to serve 2.5 more years.
Yeah, so you can just raise all sorts of cane if you'd like to. Go right ahead. Because he ain't going anywhere, and he's still your president, still going to be your president.
I would like to think of him as your daddy.
Yeah, I know.
He's still your daddy. Doesn't really matter if you want to complain about it. He's your daddy.
That's right. And there's not much you can do about it. I was reading about this woman who was one of the protesters, and she was from Charlotte, but she had gone to 5 protests on Saturday. 5 different ones. One in Charlotte, one in Rock Hill, South Carolina, one in a couple other places. But so she was just hitting the circuit. So should make sure that they had enough people, I suppose, because we all know this is bought and paid for by Roy Sigmund, the dude that is a billionaire because of capitalism, now resides in China, and he's the one that bankrolls all of this.
Promoting communism.
Yeah, promoting communism after he made his billions with capitalism. Yes. It's dumb. These people, I guess, have no idea which way's up. They don't realize that this is just a facade.
I'm going to point this out a couple times during this show because they're going to claim these numbers and whatever. Okay.
8 million is what MS Now is trying to convince you of.
Okay. Fine. 8 million. All right. You still go find 70 million more and you can win an election. Okay.
That's right.
Go find 70 million more and win an election. All right. This is what I was pointing out. And the fact that people actually thought I was lying about this made it even more funny. I said, the reason why when I was in that St. Louis airport and listening to one of the organizers, his problem that he had was that they have to make this look like more than a boomer movement. He was talking about the problem they had getting people out as far as for the 2 hours that they needed. They needed 2 hours. That's what they were doing. He was talking about his AM wave and his PM wave, how they didn't have enough people. And what did he mean by that? He meant people that look like me and Tug and Bryce. Because every time it's a bunch of 70-year-olds, notably white liberals, and a microphone gets put in their face, they look bad. And this goes on all around the country. If you're going to build a grassroots campaign, it has to be spread out amongst the masses. It has to be representative of the demographics that you need to win an election. That was what I was trying to explain. And people are like, you're lying about them not being able to get out enough people. No, you got out the people that don't win elections.
Don't have any effect on it.
You need to get me out.
Yeah.
You need to get my wife out. You need to get the people that I was at a volleyball tournament with.
You can't do that, Los. You can't get those people like that out because you're busy. You have a life to live. You have things that you want to do and want to accomplish. The people that I saw, they were at like a 55-plus community. I don't know what they're.
Oh, it's older than that.
Yeah, well, definitely. I know, but I'm just saying a retirement community, and they were all in there. Every one of them looked like burnout hippies from the '60s, and they were coloring their signs. And one woman had a walker, and not there's anything wrong with having a walker. Look, my grandmother had a walker too, but she wasn't out protesting. She wasn't out scooting it around.
Needs to look representative of a real movement, and it does not.
No people of color. Zero.
Yes. There's another one that was funny. The woman who explained that I'm out here for black people that can't be. Did you notice there weren't any?
Yeah. I mean, of 8 million, the number that MS Now is going with, not that we believe the number, but that's the number they're going with. Dude, I saw 0 people of color. Probably should be alarming. A little bit.
You might find this, and I go back to the greatness that is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle will point out that oftentimes the black community will tell you what they think with their silence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Like, wasn't that the Jussie Smollett?
Juicy Smollett.
Juicy Smollett.
He's like, we knew he was lying, and we didn't support him because we were quiet.
We knew.
When they don't show up, they're telling you what they think.
That's right.
And so I isolated the picture. And not that I was going to post it, but I did ponder, like, should I actually see? That's the person who was on the phone in the St. Louis airport who was loudly talking about problems of trying to get people out. And his issue was he knows he's going to get the burnouts. He has to pay for the 20 and 30 somethings, and he couldn't get enough of them.
Yeah. Because they probably have a life to live, too.
Because it was a Saturday to start the spring.
Yeah, that's right.
Good luck with that one.
Beautiful weather.
For the $20?
Yeah, no, thank you. Dude, I have no interest. Maybe it's because I wouldn't go protest, even if it's something I agreed with. I guess protesting is just not in my DNA. I've always found it obnoxious. I've always found it annoying. And I don't expect that that's going to end anytime soon. And I tend to think most people that are like me probably see it that way, too.
I'm sorry. I've been the person since elementary and middle school that when you stood up and said, we're going to put sodas in the machines, I went, I don't care.
Yeah, just
not going to get me excited.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. Have at it.
It's not going to work.
Have at it. I'll be over here.
So yeah, this was funny amongst a lot of the parents who were asking like, hey, after you're done here, are you heading out to the protest? It's like, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, seriously,
can't wait to go and get out to the protest. I mean, it was mocking, and these were as of adults of means. I mean, people that have actually of accomplishment were like, I don't have any interest in being out there with these fools.
But isn't that the way it goes, though?
Yes,
people that
all the time.
that actually have something to do, whether they focus on their family or they're focusing on their career or they're focusing on their front yard in the beautiful spring weather. I got other things to do than stand around with you buffoons and hold up signs next to people who have been paid to be there.
Again, I say, go find 70 million more of your friends,
and you can,
and we'll talk. And we'll talk. In the meantime, I got to make sure that my yard looks good.
That's right, man. Because I mean, I got to work on Monday. These are the 2 days I have off. Maybe y'all don't got to work on Monday. I don't know. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. The commie bought and paid for protest was missing something, or should I say, someone. Next on Extra.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
You hear bail bonds and you think one thing: someone to get you out of a jam. But A Second Chance Bail Bonds is built differently. This family-run team, led by brothers Daniel and Ryan Matalon, believes everyone deserves a second chance. And they prove it every day through the A Second Chance Community Foundation. They support local nonprofits, partner with law enforcement, and stay active in community programs, food drives, and safety initiatives. Bottom line, they don't just work in the community, they're part of it. Learn more at a2cfoundation.org. That's a2cfoundation.org.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Fox on Tech.
Even a top cop can get his email hacked. The FBI reports that its director, Kash Patel, had his private and personal emails compromised and private materials published. The infiltration was, allegedly, at the hands of a hacker group that has long been suspected of ties to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Among the leaked items were message threads of varying personal and professional nature, along with photographs. The FBI says what was compromised and publicized is older stuff and that no bureau or government information was obtained. Reuters reports that the address and password credentials matched one leaked online in the past. This would be a good reminder to use differing passwords for different apps and to choose more complicated ones or use randomizers found in password management apps. Both iOS and Android have these features, though there are popular third-party services. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Neil Bortz is live every day on Extra 106.3.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another edition of Told Ya. Over the years, I've had to argue with a lot of people who think there is a right to vote in the United States, that the U.S. Constitution guarantees it. No, it doesn't. There is no constitutional right to vote.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app. Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Extra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Extra 106.3. The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Don't set your troops on fire. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That warning from the Speaker of Iran's parliament as President Trump says he's considering seizing Iran's Karg Island oil terminal.
Overnight, President Trump took to Truth Social to say, big day in Iran. Many long sought-after targets have been taken out and destroyed by our great military, the finest and most lethal in the world. God bless you all. Reports indicate the president is considering a limited ground operation inside of Iran, following the arrival of the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, to the CENTCOM area of operation.
Fox's Trey Yanks. Airport TSA workers who've gone unpaid during a now 45-day government shutdown are told they'll start getting checks today, with President Trump signing an executive order to divert other Homeland Security money to them.
Well, we're going to pay them for as long as we have to, and I will tell you, the ICE workers have been amazing, and that's helping people with their bags.
Immigration agents are expected to stay at airports where there are still TSA shortages. The Supreme Court on Wednesday will hear President Trump's challenge to birthright citizenship, whether babies born in the U.S. automatically receive American citizenship. Today, it's a case about where crimes are committed versus charged.
Former Twitter employee Ahmad Abuamo was accused of selling users' data to Saudi Arabia. To cover up the money he got, he created a fake invoice and then emailed it to investigators in California. Those agents then filed charges against him, alleging he obstructed their investigation, and they filed the charges in California, also where Twitter was based. He was convicted of acting as a foreign agent, among other charges, and sentenced to 42 months in federal prison. But Abuamo appealed, arguing he created the document in Washington state, so he should be charged there. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the impacts of the crime were felt in Northern California, so charges could be filed there. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
More than 70 people are reported to have been killed by gunmen in South Sudan over a dispute at a gold mine. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
I wake up every morning with the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. So glad that you're here on this Monday. It's Holy Week. We'll certainly bring some of that stuff up this week as we head later into the week, especially Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday. Obviously, Easter Sunday. Be talking about some of that stuff. We were out of town yesterday, but took in church. Thank heavens that church is available to be watched on your phone, because that's the way my wife and I watched church yesterday in the hotel room. We grabbed some breakfast, made it back over, and caught the Palm Sunday church service just to get our week started off the right way. So happy that technology allows us to do that.
Just about the message.
Yeah, that's right. It
doesn't always have to be about the location.
That's right. Absolutely. Dude, but see, that's the thing. You're exactly right. You know, if you're traveling with teams, because I see this a lot at church, and I understand where they come from. Like, if you're letting your kids ball teams and schedules interrupt going to church, then you're not doing the right thing or whatever. And I was just like, well, I did it. I'm get guilty. But if you can figure out a way to make it all work together, then I'm with you. Location doesn't matter, man. It's where your heart is. If you're trying to take in the message, that's what matters.
It's a message.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
That's all.
This is good. So that was sweet. That was special. That was a good way to start the day off. But then the bad news started creeping in, Los.
Oh, bad news.
Oh, it was awful.
Oh no.
Oh, it was terrible.
How are we gonna resolve this?
Well, I don't know. Maybe hire a driver. That's the only thing that I can figure.
Yeah.
I don't know how Tiger Woods flips another car. I don't know how you continue to do this.
And the memes that were out there,
dude,
as far as blowing 0.0.
Yes, absolutely.
But let's face it, if you're
was
down in some pills,
there was something going on,
yeah,
for sure. But then maybe you saw Joyce Vance. Maybe you saw her tweet where she shared this. We're at war. Travel's a mess. There is a measles outbreak. Price of gas is skyrocketing. So, of course, the president is focused on keeping his pal out of jail. There was a fake post from Donald Trump that somebody had doctored, and it looked just like a Truth Social post that gets shared on Twitter often or X often. And I've been told that Tiger Woods, a great golfer, great American, was involved in a minor fender bender. It's just this crazy, crazy tweet. When you read it, you knew it wasn't real. You knew it wasn't true. But Joyce didn't get that message.
It only takes a moment
to check.
To go check.
You go to Grog and be like, is this real? And it'll tell you immediately.
I mean, that's routine for me.
Absolutely.
Whenever there is a post, especially when there's one of those late night ones, when you know that man is up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you go, I don't know. Only takes a moment to check.
That's right.
There are a number of accounts, even on X, that will take whatever he put on Truth Social and will repost it so that you know it's actually a real post.
What you might not know about Joyce Aline.
Sorry, Joyce.
She's a 25-year federal prosecutor.
Oh.
Boy, that looks bad. On a job, a woman that has to do research all the time on a myriad of things when she's defending or prosecuting. Seems like she would have taken a minute, just a minute, to say this is real or not. Instead, couldn't wait to retweet it with her, with her description of.
This is going around a lot these days.
Yeah, it is.
Oftentimes, it's images where you will have a, hey, look what ICE did. And then when you look closely, you go, those are Mexican police.
Right.
You see the Spanish on the back?
Yeah, that should be the dead giveaway.
That might be the giveaway. Or look what the Iranians were able to do.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, that's a video game.
Yeah, right.
But I guess it fooled you.
Yeah, I guess. And so it's good enough to get some
misinformation's
people.
real.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And if you're dying to have it, you immediately jump on it. You know what I mean?
I just don't need to be
searching.
first.
Right.
You know what I'm first in? My own thoughts. I'm first in my own thoughts, and I'm happy to be there.
But these people, I feel like, with Joyce and others, they're dying to have something negative about the president or whatever it is that they don't like. So as soon as something pops up, they can't wait to use it because that feeds whatever the dopamine that they need.
Trips the TDS.
That's right, dude.
Makes them get a moment of calm.
Totally does. It's sad that that's the way it is. But Joyce, a 25-year federal attorney, just decided to, not pay much attention. Probably should have. Big weekend for the Braves. That was awesome. It was so cool to see. Big weekend for Los and his daughters with a national bid. Going to be headed back to Minneapolis.
I watched that video. That was a cool video.
Isn't it a cool video? Yeah, I posted it over on X. It's through Instagram. It's from Big South. So Big South are going to award a whole bunch more bids this afternoon. But as far as the very first one, the 11-year-olds finished it off, and they got their bid. So we're headed back to Minnesota, the land of Somali crazy.
Boy, that'll be
got a piece of that.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
It wasn't as fun for me in a sports weekend. My son's team got swept by the number 14 team in the nation. They had a chance to win. Game one should have, didn't. Had played really well. Game two, wheels fell off the bus, and yesterday just got boat raced. I mean, it was awful. It was like, you know when you
found out,
dude,
they're pretty good.
Yeah, they just insult to injury. Like this one kid It was about the fourth when they had an 8-run fourth inning. This one kid hit a grand slam. The game was tied at 2. Hit a grand slam over the scoreboard.
Oh.
He's not the biggest kid on the team either. He had some torque and was able to do that. Two batters later, a 2-run shot, and the game ended, I think, 13-2. It was a rough day. But look, NCAA tournament was fun to watch. That was great. So there's all kinds of good things happening. There's all kinds of great things happening. I mean, the weather's been perfect. You just couldn't ask for much more. So let's get to the first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
Okay.
Put a boot in your ass, courtesy
So over the weekend, and I'm going to continue to point this out a multitude of times during this show, because when I was in St. Louis and at the airport, I talked about it at the day after it happened, coming back home, that there was someone in the airport who was talking very loudly on his phone. I took a picture. I sent it over to Tug. I then was texting Tug in real time about what they were talking about. Now, this was in February. He was trying to get more people for March 28th for the next No Kings rally. And he was adamant on the phone about how they couldn't get the right type of people. That was the problem. And so you can have MS Now or CNN, and they can tell you all about how many millions of people, how many people they had out. Again, I say find 70 million more friends, come win an election.
Let's go.
But I will point out, because of the turnout, which was largely 60, 65 plus white liberal, it was a collection of people that were crying to one another about not liking Donald Trump. That's all it was. It was a TDS joint therapy session. That person that when I was listening to his conversation, couldn't miss it. I'm sitting like 3 feet from him in St. Louis. His complaint was about they're trying to turn out a different sort of audience. They're trying to get perhaps you. I know they're trying to get me. They'd love to have Bryce, but they are not able to swing that. And as he pointed out, their AM people can't do it. Their PM people can't do it. They need 10. They basically were looking to do it for a 2-hour session, and they couldn't get the right people for the money that they were offering. so I sat there.
Clocking in and out.
So that was the problem, and that's what I was pointing out. So as I saw all these videos from around the country featuring the exact people that you don't win an election with.
And the exact conversation that you just heard.
And that was what the issue was. That is what I'm connecting the dots for everybody for. So I want you to listen to this. This is a piece of audio. Here's a liberal woman. Again, another one of these people that as you've had the baby boomers get older, like you still need a decent amount to win an election. Okay? But these people now represent that weird 20% of the Democrat Party that are very loud but can't explain anything, that kind of follow politics but can't articulate it, that if you just tell them to show up, they don't have to get paid, but they don't know what to say. Take a listen to this woman who explains why she's out at the protest.
It seems like there's a lack of diversity here today, that it's mostly people who look like you and I, and I just
It is not for black people, for people of color to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
What do you think about voter ID? Do you think it's racist?
It's 100% a tactic to control the population and prevent people from voting, so that the only votes so that the gerrymandering can work, so that white voters can vote in white Christian males.
Have you been voting blue most of your life?
I voted blue in the womb.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
If you had to vote for Republican, J.D. Vance or Rubio, which one would you pick if you had to?
Yeah. I would slit my throat.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds very logical. Yes. And she seems very well adjusted. But you can hear the age in there.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And her inability to articulate even why she's out there, to the point where, as the interviewer notes, there are no black people there. Right. She's like, well, they'd be arrested. Oh, really?
Do you think so?
That sounds pretty logical, lady.
Yeah. On top of that, when she talked about the gerrymandering, she failed to bring up the gerrymandering in, like, say, Virginia, where it's going in her direction, so it's just fine. It's going to happen the way she wants it to. It's just fine. And they couldn't tell you who they want out there, Los.
No.
They know they don't want Trump, right? Trump's got to go. Well, you got 2.5 more years. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, enjoy, sister.
But I never saw anybody say, hey, this person would be better. If we had just voted this way, it would have been better. They couldn't tell me that.
Well, it's a great representation of where the Democrat Party is right now. There is no unifying message other than we hate Trump.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only message.
And there is no real unifying policy. There's nothing that they can articulate and get behind and say, this is what we feel would be best for the country. We have an alternate set of ideas. Their only point of being there is that these are the people that when they're in power, they are authoritarian. They just don't like the person who's in power right now. These are the same people that told you can't go to work without a vax card, that you can't go have dinner without a vax card, that you can't get on a plane without a vax card, that you have to stay at home, you have to keep your kids at home. The very liberty that they demanded that you give up in 2020, 2021, they are the people that suddenly say, well, we know best. You can't have Donald Trump there.
The authoritarian things that you talked about there, Los, is exactly right, because that actually is what unifies them in a very, very broken kind of way. And as I watched and kept up on my phone, I ran across Scott Jennings, who summarized it so well. Listen to what he says unifies the crazies that were out protesting No Kings.
These No Kings rallies actually look pretty representative to me of the Democratic coalition. I saw people flying the hammer and sickle in New York City. I saw Hezbollah flags. I saw Hamas flags. I saw Palestinian flags. I saw trans signs. I see weirdo liberal boomers out there. This is pretty representative of the Democratic coalition, and that's who funds it as well, by the way. And so I think if America looks at this and says, what do the two parties stand for? They got it at the No Kings rally.
No, I think
Dude, so deadly accurate.
And CNN was like,
no, you can't say that. You can't point this out.
But if we're just using symbolism, because if I happen to walk out, if I was to walk out anywhere with a flag, it'd be an American flag.
Always.
Followed very closely by a Texas flag.
There you
be
go.
Like, here we go. These are the flags that are going to represent me. That's what I'm about. These people were walking, just as he said, with the hammer and sickle, the old look of the Soviet Union. They had Chinese flags. They had Palestinian flags. They had the flag of Hamas. Iranian flags. Yeah. Like, your representation is that of the terrorist state and the communist.
And the authoritarian.
Yes.
The one that you say that you're against.
You're celebrating, you're representing the authoritarian regimes that have been more than comfortable with killing their own people in the interest of maintaining power. And that's what you represent? I'm telling you, we were this close from 2020 to 2024 to losing the representative republic. That was the road they wanted to go down. That was what they wanted. They firmly believed when they were able to cheat in 2020 to win the election, they firmly believed they could open up the floodgates and they would end any sort of idea of nationalism or conservatism, that they would end it during that period.
And they wouldn't complain if from now to the end of time, the government was authoritarian. As long as it was leftist and woke, they would be happy with that king until the end of the time, at least in their own mind. When they actually had to live it out, it'd be a different story. But in their minds, they're like, give me all the leftists, give me all the woke. And all the flags represented that, just as you heard Scott Jennings say. They would be completely content with that forever, so they say.
So let's go ahead and balance these two out. So on their side, when they refer to, let's say, MAGA as a cult, conservatives as a cult, my cult, if I was to say, okay, I'll be part of that cult, here's what my cult believes in. I'm going to leave you alone, you leave me alone. All right? That's how that works. When you subscribe to the other side, your cult, historically, this is what it does. It demands reliance on the state, adherence to the state, loyalty to the state, and if you don't, it shoots you in the back of the head.
That's a rough place to live, dude. I don't want any part of that.
Let me get this. Bounce it out again. I'll leave you alone, you leave me alone. Yours, I will shoot you in the back of the head if you don't do what I say. And the weird part about it is all of them think they're going along for this ride. No, you're the first person who gets shot in the head. I've said this before, I'll say it again. You can write it all down. The best part about communism is that the communists kill other communists who they don't consider to be communists enough.
I'll just say, if there's one king here on Holy Week, it's Jesus. That's the king that I subscribe to. That's the only one.
I did find that to be very funny as we were opening up this week, and they're starting off with no kings. I was like, did anyone look at a calendar?
Dude.
Did anyone maybe ponder that as we get this close to Easter?
Yeah.
This wasn't like we were leading into Elvis's birthday, okay?
Right.
We were leading into Eastern.
Different king.
We were leading into the very basis of Christianity, the resurrection. And you thought, no kings.
This is great. But you know what, though? They probably did look at the calendar because they hate any form of religion, right?
They would have had to play it that way.
Because that pulls away from the statist point of view. They don't want you worshiping at the cross. They want you worshiping at their feet. They want an actual king, not like Jesus, but one that would be an authoritarian.
But again, I don't care if it's 8 million. I don't care if it's 800,000. I don't care if it's 5 million. Tell us 20 million in the streets. Fine. The thing is, those aren't the people you win elections with. The ones you win elections with, we're going. So as we lead up to Easter, you're telling me no kings?
Because you just alienated about 60% of the country. which if you look at the voting numbers.
I mean, as long as we're talking about like the king of kings, and you're like, no kings.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. That actually was not a representation of going after Donald Trump. It was not. They were going after Jesus. Explain yourself from that one.
Welcome to the Morning Extra. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the numbers.
No kings.
Yeah. Even when it comes to D's and R's, it's really even. Next on Extra 106.3.
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Attention, Antifa, human traffickers, cartels, and woke DAs. With Chris Carr as governor, you won't stand a chance.
I'm Chris Carr. In Georgia, we will prosecute you. It's easy for politicians to talk tough, but I'm the only Republican who put gangs, human traffickers, and Antifa behind bars. I even fought Obama, Biden, and Abrams in court and won. If you're attacking our police or our freedoms, I'll be your worst nightmare.
Chris Carr doesn't just talk tough. Carr had the courage, brought the cases, and locked up the criminals. He has more than 120 gang convictions. Over 200 human trafficking victims have been rescued and seized enough fentanyl to kill 3.5 million Georgians. Carr's taking on the woke left, making crime illegal again. As governor, Chris Carr will keep up the fight and never back down. Chris Carr, governor. Real fights, real wins, real conservative. Paid for by Carver, Georgia.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Grace Point School.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Liz Powell, head of school at Grace Point. We are a Christian school in Marietta that serves dyslexic learners in grades 1 through 8. Grace Point School is accredited by the Academy of Orton Gillingham practitioners and educators, as well as the Southern Association of Independent Schools. We are a full immersion program and remediate dyslexia.
As a partner and a parent, I can tell you firsthand, Grace Point is a game changer.
As you know, Tara, early intervention makes a difference. Our teachers celebrate the gifts and strengths of our students. We are currently accepting applications for the 26-27 school year. Come learn more about our small class sizes, individual attention, excellent teachers, and one-of-a-kind community.
If your child is a dyslexic learner, reach out to Grace Point today. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Hey, this is Los with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car.
My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 30th, and here are your headlines. A new Vietnam Veterans Memorial was unveiled at Piedmont Park over the weekend, honoring 240 soldiers from Atlanta and Fulton County who never returned home. The ceremony included a parade, ribbon cutting, and speakers from across Georgia, with the memorial featuring a wall engraved with the names of fallen heroes. Despite the stuffy noses, Atlanta is not ranked one of the worst cities in the country for seasonal allergies this year, ranking 34th nationwide. Doctors say pollen levels are still above average, and experts recommend starting treatment as early as possible, as larger pollen counts will continue to worsen symptoms. And finally, in Marietta, the Georgia National Guard has reopened the newly renovated South Cobb Readiness Center after an $11 million upgrade. 78th Troop Command facility will serve as the headquarters for Troop Command units, who will continue to support unit mobilizations and oversee deployment training missions while maintaining steady operational tempo in support of domestic response missions at home. Today's weather will be mostly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. The Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Hey, Los, I got this idea. Tell me what you think of it. I say we take the holiest week in the history of Christianity and do a No Kings protest on that Sunday. What do you think?
If I just happen to be a consultant for such thing, I would say, hey, maybe, just a suggestion.
Just maybe
we wait 10 days. just to get beyond Easter.
Yeah.
Maybe as far as the level in a Judeo-Christian society, maybe we should just slide a little bit past the most important date in the history of Christianity. Because the resurrection seems to be pretty important
to a lot of people, maybe even worldwide. And if you're considering this, if you're just considering this, let's just sit down and talk about it and see what you think.
Just throw around some ideas here.
Maybe kick around a couple different dates,
Some might be calling it spitballing.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe
what
get
sticks.
A grease board. We'll just put some ideas down. Let's build like a graph or something. I don't know. But no, they didn't think of that, and they went with it anyways.
This is good for them.
Yes,
you did great.
It's fitting. It was fitting.
Great.
It was fitting for them for sure. Morning Extra and Extra 106-3-404-741-1230. I bet you didn't think of that, did you? Unless you saw, maybe you saw it somewhere. Maybe you did think about it. But nothing gets by us. We're like steel traps here on the Morning Extra. And when it comes to numbers, we've got an expert.
But I'll be all right as long as there's light from a math dude. Most people don't like math, they run from the sun. They'd rather fight or love or just drink some rum.
Let's get to some of these numbers.
I've never actually heard that line.
I'll drink some rum.
Drink some rum. Yes, I will.
It's getting into summer.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's a nice summer drink.
Yes, it is.
All right, I want to go by some of these numbers because as of now, you have Trafalgar Group that has basically been tracking this data. Also, Rasmussen proved during the 2024 election to have the most accurate data in terms of what was going to happen. Now, that is ignoring what was going on in the betting markets, which as we got closer to the election, we had like Polymarket. They kept telling us Donald Trump's going to win all 7 swing states. Like, no. And then he did.
Right.
So as we get closer, we'll see what the betting numbers become because we're too far out for the betting numbers. But at least for polling, when you start talking to thousands of people, you get a little bit better of an idea. So here's why you end up having the rally over the weekend and what they're pushing. Because in Rasmussen right now, you have amongst national likely voters, you have a plus 3% for the Democrats. First off, that's not large enough. Okay, and let me give you the key demos of what Rasmussen had. And I'll give it to you in kind of a quiz form, Tug. Okay, knowing that, for instance, let's start with what we were joking around about to open up this hour. The black community typically has to vote for Democrats at about a 93% clip in order for Democrats to maintain their power nationally. Now, that's going to change from community to community, but it's just a good overall number to know. So in the Rasmussen polling, when it asked this question, if the elections for Congress were held today, would you vote for the Democrat candidate or the Republican candidate? Pretty general, right? Very general. So amongst voters, black voters, what do you think the percentage that said, knowing they've got to hit about the 93% mark, even 90 at the very worst, how many of them in this poll do you think said that they would vote for the Democrat candidate?
I'm going to go 70.
62%.
Ooh, that's a low.
26% said they would vote for the Republican candidate. Let's move over to the Hispanic vote, where the Democrats have typically needed about 75% of that vote in order to maintain or to grow power. Within this poll, how many do you think said they would vote for the Democrat candidate?
Let's go 50%.
44%. 41% said that they would vote for the Republican candidate. Now, here's another number. Females. Females, we have seen, because we've gone through a bunch of the numbers. Right now, you have about a 75-25 split between women that are voting Democrat versus voting Republican. Now, that changes dynamically when we start talking about suburban mothers. Suburban mothers, that helped deliver it for Trump. Democrat candidate, females, what do you think that they said overall as far as voting for the Democrat candidate?
Let me go 60 on this, 60%.
47.
Good Lord.
47, wow. 39. Now, here's the other part, too. We've had this huge disparity when it comes to age. That is not showing up right now. For instance, ages of people 39 or 30 to 39, 43, 41, 40 to 49, 43, 38, 50 to 64, 44, 45, 65 plus, which was what No Kings was basically turning out. Mm-hmm. We got all these people in the street. Look how they showed up. Rasmussen, 65 plus, 48, 46.
Oh, wow.
It's not a big enough number.
Well, definitely not. And it's surprising because if you just looked at the No Kings protesters, the bought and paid for protesters, and you saw all of those people that are in that demo, that 65 plus demo, you would have thought that represented the entire country because it was everywhere, right? The mainstream media carried it. You saw it on social media. It seemed like it was an avalanche. But the number doesn't reflect that.
We're into the 7 o'clock hour. MS Now has yet to jump into it.
Yeah.
Because
they're talking about Epstein victims.
Because that is the fail. It wasn't large enough. And they can't air any of the protesters on the ground because the problem is they're not the protesters that they're looking for. How about this one? When it comes to political ideology, now this would be for those as far as party, how they view themselves. Not Republican, not Democrat, just other. So this would be sort of your independents. It's 39-34. Now, as that number tightens up, why do you think the Democrats are doing what they're doing? Why do you think that they're trying to
rally somebody?
They're trying to cause as much pain as possible. Right now, and this was put forward by Dr. Rich McCormick. You can go back on the app and listen to him from last week. As he put it, the media wants to tell you that the Democrats are, oh, look what the Democrats are doing. He says the Democrats are as unpopular as they've ever been. He goes, now it's dragging us down. It's like, but we're more popular than they are.
Which is surprising because that's not usually the way the numbers go.
It's not the way it typically goes. So Rasmussen is basically telling you that it's and we are so far away right now. I mean, we are still looking at the better part of, November? We're in March. This is going to take a while for us to get another 8 months worth of this stuff. 7 months as we get a little bit closer. It's about 7 months. There are so many things that are going to happen. And this number, as of now, and this is the concern the Democrats have, this number is supposed to be bigger. This is supposed to be double digits.
Yeah, already.
The fact that it's not double digits in Trafalgar and also Rasmussen is a concern for them. So I love when anybody wants to tell me about, aren't you concerned? Look what's going to happen with the GOP. I'm just saying the numbers are telling me
I'm not convinced
that you're not.
That's right.
Doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be winning by double. You're supposed to be up by like 18 points right now, Democrats.
But for Republicans, the flip of that is don't be complacent just because the numbers look good, and it's easy to fall into that trap. If you see what's on TV and you're like, those fools, man, nobody's going to vote for that. Man, I'm telling you, they will pay people to get out. They will do anything they can to turn people out. And that's what it's all about. It's what it boils down to, Los. It's turnout.
Turnout is
Do not
everything.
sit on your hands. Talk to everyone you can. If you believe that America is at risk, then you better turn out the vote.
Here is why the Democrats aren't ad nauseum showing you images and showing you people on the street. Because that particular protest is meant to dishearten you. You're supposed to say,
wow, that's a lot.
Why am I the only one who's voting this way? Maybe I should maybe I should stay home. No, when you start to see who they're interviewing,
let that be an encouragement to you.
Then you go, wow, they really are crazy. And they want crazy to come back.
Dude, they would love to kick the doors open on the border. They would love to fill in skate parks with sand like they did when COVID was happening. Those are the same people. The ones that would fill up a skate park where kids couldn't go outside and skateboard. Remember how many times that happened and how many places that happened? That's the same people you're seeing at the No Kings protest.
These are the people that keep telling themselves about new COVID variants. And they're like, well, I got to get another booster. I don't know why I keep getting COVID.
Or if you're going out to protest, make sure you get another booster and make sure you wear your mask. And that was, dude, I saw that bubbling up all over social media all weekend long. People making sure that they masked up. Are you kidding? Are you joking? We're 6 years removed for that, and you're still going to the well?
The numbers right now say that this is a turnout election and turnout only. And so their operation is to try and dishearten you. Do not be disheartened. In fact, go find 3 friends. I had a really cool conversation over the weekend. It was one of the dads on our team said he started talking to one of their guys in IT, and the IT guy told him, hey, I found this radio show I've been listening to. So I was checking him out. And he was like, oh, what have you been listening to? Well, it was us.
Oh, nice.
And the funny part is that dad on our team goes like, oh, yeah, no, my daughter and
they play together.
They play together. He goes, is he really pretty conservative? He's like, yeah. It's like, we've had drinks at the bar. It's like, yeah, he's fun. It's what he is. He goes, he enjoys those jokes.
Yeah.
That's what, like, you're going to find community with other people. And no, for every single one of those Aunt Pegs you got, there are dozens more people that think like you do. The job of the media and what you see on social media right now and what's going on is to make you feel isolated, like there is somehow less of you than there are of them. The truth is, there are millions more of you than there are of them.
That silent majority, the ones that the left and the mainstream media pokes fun at and makes fun of because you go to church. You know, you believe in something bigger than government. You believe in something bigger than all of us. Like, they make fun of that. They want you to know that they think you're a rube. I'm going to use Los's word from last week. We need to break that in, keep that into the lexicon of speech. But they believe you to be a rube because of your conservative values and the things you hold dear. They don't hold them dear. They hate them, and they think you're a fool for believing it.
Again, I go through the numbers of what is going on with the black voters and the data on them. Those are not the numbers that win for the Democrats. And when you go to people like, let's say, oh, I don't know, Tug, maybe Nick Cannon. Like, did Nick Cannon get in the news over the weekend?
Apparently, Nick Cannon has gotten an education. He's gotten educated on what the history of the Democrat Party is. And I don't know that much about Nick Cannon. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that much about the guy. I mean, I know a little bit. I know he's got some ties to Atlanta. But when he laid down the truth about the Democrat Party, it caused a stir this weekend that I've not seen in some time.
part of the Republican Party?
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
and they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
Nick.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to neither party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names.
How many times have we said this?
How many times have we brought up, and I had a post over the weekend, we've talked about this audience, and we've said this to everyone here a ton. If you are conservative, if you are nationalistic, if you believe in the rule of law, if you believe in the Constitution, the founding of this country, the Uniparty hates you.
Despises you.
In fact, the establishment Republicans dislike you as much as the Democrats do.
That's exactly right.
That's what Nick Cannon is also telling you. Nick Cannon, he's been red-pilled. He gets it too.
But let me tell you, the people that were going after him for saying that out loud over the weekend, man, they said some ugly, I saw some ugly things said about Nick Cannon. And again, I know very little about Nick Cannon.
Let me guess, did they come across as being racist?
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what they... But
surprise! The Democrats being racist.
But it came from all different directions. Like, I was surprised at the level of spewing that was happening and from the groups of people that it was happening from. I mean, it was all over the board.
See, we are not going to be, as of yet, like in Texas, this might happen. In Texas, you might get Ken Paxton. You might get rid of a John Cornyn. That's an establishment Republican. And every single time you get rid of an establishment Republican, you get something for the time being that's going to be better. But just because you don't get all of the non-establishment Republicans out of there this time around, it's like that's something to work on. But you can't give up the country to the leftist communists.
Which is exactly what Megyn Kelly brought up last week. She said, look, I know you're frustrated with the Republican Party, and Los and I talk about the frustration all the time, but it's either be frustrated with a party that at least shares some values and at least cares about the country versus a party that waves the freaking sickle flag and hammer.
I can scare a Republican candidate with a primary. I can't scare a Democrat communist with a primary. I can't. I can certainly scare establishment Republicans with them.
A name that can't be mentioned beside Laken Riley or even Sheridan Gorman. Next on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 30th. The Final Four is now set as the final two teams advanced on Sunday in the men's college basketball tournament. 1 seed Michigan breezed past Tennessee, 95-62, the final in the game of the day in the East region. 1 seed Duke is now out after an improbable last-second turnover and three-point shot that sends them to a 73-72 loss to UConn. Those teams now join Illinois and Arizona in the Final Four Saturday night. The Braves, they took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend despite a 4-1 home loss to end the series on Sunday. The Braves will host the Athletics starting Monday evening for the first of a 3-game series before heading out west to Arizona for a Thursday evening matchup with the Diamondbacks. Again, all of the action being heard on our sister station, 680 The Fan and the Fan app. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Shopping the new 2026 Toyota Tacoma? Well, make sure your move is the one at Marietta Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event now through March 31st. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. And if you currently own a Tacoma, Tundra, 4Runner, or Sequoia, you may qualify for $1,000 in loyalty cash towards that new Tacoma, no trade-in required. We've got Tacomas in stock and more arriving. You can choose right now to set up and drive it home. Special APR is available, 4.99% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. Remember, visit us on Kyle Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. $1,000 loyalty cash available to eligible current owners on select new Tacoma. No trade-in required. Offer ends 3/31/26. See dealer for details.
Donna, did you see the machines they just put in here?
The coin-operated ones?
Yeah, by the fountain drinks.
So exciting. Gambling machines in a gas station? Who needs to go to Vegas?
Pump a little unleaded, play a few slots.
They are so fun.
You know who got those legalized in Georgia.
Who?
Burt Jones.
Burt Jones, our Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones?
Yeah, that Burt Jones. He worked to legalize the whole $6 billion coin-operated gambling machine industry so he could get these machines into stores like this.
Why would he do that?
Because his family owns the stores. But it gets better. Burt voted to require that half the revenue went to the store owners.
Like his family?
Yeah, like his family. No wonder he's taken thousands from gambling interests.
Sounds corrupt to me.
Typical career politician. The House doesn't lose, Donna. This whole thing was a guaranteed jackpot.
Yeah, for Burt Jones.
The guy is seriously corrupt.
The absolute worst.
Thanks for nothing, Burt Jones.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog and our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Atlanta legends are only on Extra 106.3 with a one and only Kimmer on your ride home every afternoon.
Yeah, it's so strange you don't know your neighbor. You're the type, the Helen Hardy guy who goes into a room and goes up to people and hugs them and asks them how they are and knows their family's kids' names by heart. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it?
It's the Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Do not miss Kimmer this afternoon. It'll be a great show. It always is. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. After we're done, Glenn Beck, then Clay and Buck, and then that local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder here on Extra 106.3. So this is the story that I feel like falls between the cracks a little bit because it's so hard to talk about. And it deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be discussed. Laken Riley, a name that doesn't get brought up nearly enough. Sheridan Gorman, a new name that doesn't get brought up nearly enough. Both killed by illegal aliens that had criminal records that should have been deported. The killer of Sheridan Gorman up in Chicago, they accused her of startling the person that killed her.
The man who had quite a rap sheet.
Yeah, he did.
At least when you talk about Laken Riley's killer, there was all right, you committed some crimes in the state of New York. You never should have gotten to Georgia, but they weren't as egregious as murder or what was going on with this person in Chicago either.
So I want to take you to a name that can't be mentioned near those two names. Why? Because the story of this kid, who we don't know his identity because is 14 years old. We can't know their identity because of HIPAA regulations and them being a minor, was raped by a trans illegal with a rap sheet and was given a 6-month plea deal. So 6 months of time, plea deal, get out of jail after raping a 14-year-old child. I said Lakin Riley. I said Sheridan Gorman. Horrible, horrible, sad stories. I can't even tell you the name of this kid because of the age. And you're thinking, what? Hang on. Where in the world would something like this happen? Homeland Security actually shared it. Manhattan District Attorney offered Nicole Alexandra, a 31-year-old transgender criminal illegal from Colombia, a 6-month plea deal after admitting to raping a 14-year-old in the bathroom in February of last year.
Who gets 6 months for rape?
Dude, this is the most violent, vile thing you can possibly do.
And by the way, haven't I been told that, no, the use of a bathroom is just it's an issue of freedom?
Yeah, it totally is. It's the same thing as the civil rights movement. That's all it is. Those are identical.
You've used the term, and I think it's fitting for this. We talk about suicidal empathy. That you will take your mentality, your emotions, your feelings, your need to try and do well by everyone, and you destroy your country, your society, your community. That's suicidal empathy. Notice that oftentimes these are all attached to people that are not supposed to be here legally or people that are trans. And then how about people that are trans and not here supposed to be legally?
The Colombian person, the transgender that committed this crime, was allowed into the country by the Biden administration and released from jail following arrest for armed robbery, assault with a dangerous weapon, and prostitution. That's what was happening in this person's life before they attacked a 14-year-old child that should be protected, that should be taken care of, and wasn't. And then when something as bad as this happens, they're like, nothing to see here. Let's not even talk about it.
I think about what happened in Minneapolis, and if you missed the story time that we did a couple of weeks ago, we were on a train, and there was the typical, the former burnout hippie who, looks to take part in this weird portion of society that we often see, like these No Kings people taking part in. He was snapping pictures of the girls on our team.
Dude.
Who were all minors. Mm. And when we got off that train and it became apparent what had happened, there was a handful of parents that wanted to tear this guy apart, including myself. And you believe that, well, what you're doing is wrong and let's get the police involved and there will be justice. And depending on the community is when you find out that when they check certain boxes, it's fine. There should not be one community in this country where, I don't care if they're a regular person, but especially if they're trans, you should put them underneath the prison. They're already mentally ill. And you give them a plea deal in 6 months for the rape of a 14-year-old?
Dude,
they're already a sick individual.
Let's say you and some of those parents had acted on your instinct.
Would have beat the crap out of the dude.
But y'all would have been punished.
Yes, we would have been the ones to go to jail.
Y'all would have been the ones.
We would have been the ones catching a case.
The news would have reported it. MAGA extremists beat up
an old man on a train.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it would have been presented. I know it would have been. Rape is such a violent act, and this can't be allowed to happen. We don't have a country. We don't have a republic if this is how we protect our children. The most vulnerable.
You made the point about where it happened. And this is why I say you vote with your feet, and that true wealth is living around people that share your values. It's the reason why, and I pointed this out, and I got people on social media, I can't believe you were making a point about that. I was like, you know why when you drive through certain communities and they've got the stars and bars? It's also a little reminder for anybody from outside the community that we do things differently there. That community does it different. And if you had this person who acted like this in that community, they wouldn't have even gotten to a courtroom.
No, it would have never been.
And nor should they probably.
The people who allow this and the people that approved this 6 months plea deal for rape of a 14-year-old child.
For what again, Tug? Did they steal something from the child? Did they rape?
Rape of a child. 6 month plea deal. These people have to be stripped of their positions. You can't allow these type of people to be responsible for justice in America because you don't have a country. You are stripping away everything that has been put in place to protect the innocent if these people are allowed to operate this way.
The problem is there is a limited amount of states in this country in which you have to have a law degree or have practiced law in order to be a judge in this country. Many of them are assigned, and with that in mind, they can then bring their political ideology rather than a knowledge of the law. And that's what's happening. The system is being rotted and corrupted from within, so that when you walk into a courtroom, and we've seen this a lot in California, how do we end up with biological men in women's prisons? It's because in the state of California, the ideology says, well, she says she's a woman. Yeah, but it has a penis. But she says it's a woman.
And you must agree to that?
Let's make sure, let's put them in women's prison. So you take sexual predators and expose them into additional women's spaces. Now, one of these days, we are going to look back on this entire era, this trans era that came and went. Like, it's gone away from the popularity that we saw with young people. It's now back to what it should always been. Freak show. You're a freak show. That's something wrong with you.
They used to have those people at circuses.
Yes. Freak show. There's something wrong with you. Like, was there anything more sweet than watching that trans lawyer get bodied up and dumped in that Oklahoma courtroom?
Because
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
And
well, you're talking.
It seems like you can't.
Sorry,
like
freak show. This is what's going to happen to you.
And the judge was having none of it, and good for her. And this was a woman that identified as a man, dressed as a man. I mean, if you paid any attention, you could tell.
It's weird what happens when you load up a woman with testosterone, how they start acting.
Yeah.
Like a irrational woman that's now on testosterone.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when there happens to be a biological man who claims they're a woman, and they like frequenting bathrooms to track kids? Wonder why. It's a sexual proclivity.
These people should not be in charge of anything if you're excusing that.
The Democrats wanted them as a voting bloc. Like it was the future of some sort of movement.
It's the worst of the worst. It does not get lower and more despicable than that right there. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 when we come back. The No Kings optics just didn't work. Next on Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Late night TV used to be absolutely great, especially the era of Johnny Carson. Nobody will ever be as good at this as he was. One of the worst right now, the worst, is Jimmy Kimmel. Now, it's well known Jimmy Kimmel absolutely hates Donald Trump. Donald Trump can't do anything right. And that includes making Senator Markwayne Mullin the new Homeland Security Secretary. Jimmy Kimmel, the great, tried to slam Mullin by just saying, "Oh, this is fantastic. We now have a plumber protecting us from terrorism." That's right. Markwayne Mullin used to be a plumber. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel didn't tell you, and here's what the Democrat-supporting sycophant media supporters won't tell you either. Yes, I guess we could say that Markwayne Mullins was a plumber. His family, you didn't know this, was in the plumbing business. And Senator Mullin took that plumbing business and leveraged it into a mini business empire in Oklahoma, including real estate business, construction company, and a restaurant. The Democrats like to make a big deal that Mullen is the only U.S. senator without a 4-year degree. Well, he was in college when his father became ill. He had to quit to take over control of the business. And then what did he do? He built that business empire in Oklahoma. Remember, the business of America is business. The Democrats would have given him more respect, as would the media, if he had a degree in gender studies. So typical. Democrats and the media have a sense of absolute disdain for somebody who actually works for a living and builds a business empire. Better you should be a full-time leech on society, like, for instance, Joe Biden. Democrats making idiots of themselves yet again. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Securing America.
A Thursday Senate Armed Services Committee hearing examined the funding requests for the Space Command and U.S. Strategic Command for fiscal year 2027. Much of the discussion centered on the importance of controlling space in the modern military. Mississippi Republican Roger Wicker.
Both Russia and China understand that space is a battlefield. They are openly developing and testing capabilities to degrade or destroy our satellite constellations.
Wicker continued.
The Chinese have flown a missile that can drop nuclear warheads from orbit anywhere on Earth with virtually no warning.
Space Force Commander General Stephen Whiting testified that without space, nothing works.
Should an adversary degrade or destroy our space capabilities, the joint forces' ability to fight as it is sized and designed would be immediately and materially impacted.
The general added space impacts troops on land, sea, and in the air. Kip Uretsky, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Lots of options for Iran. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
We are negotiating with them directly and indirectly.
President Trump says he thinks there will be a deal soon with Iran to end the U.S.-Israel military operation there, but there are alternatives, he says, like seizing Iran's Karg Island oil refinery. He tells reporters on Air Force One more oil has been allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
They gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait.
And the president, meantime, also appears to be easing up on an oil blockade to Cuba, saying he's okay with a Russian tanker getting through.
Moscow's Ministry of Transport says a Russian tanker carrying 100,000 tons of crude oil has reached Cuban waters. The United States cut off Venezuelan oil exports to Cuba after ousting President Nicolas Maduro in January, exacerbating an energy crisis.
It's Fox's Jonathan Savage. An executive order signed by the president means airport TSA agents should start getting paychecks again today. We're told at least some already have. Long lines at some airports due to resignations and sickouts won't end right away, though. And Borders Czar Tom Homan says ICE agents may stick around to help.
We're going to continue an ICE presence there and until the airports feel like they're in 100%, in a posture where they can do normal operations. If less TS agents come back, that means we'll keep more ICE agents there.
Homan on CBS Face the Nation. Fighter jets scramble in Florida with President Trump there.
A private aircraft entered a no-fly zone near the president's location Sunday afternoon. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, dispatched F-16 fighter jets, and they had to fire off some flares to get the pilot's attention. NORAD says the flares burn out quickly and pose no danger to people on the ground.
It's Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage that big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Extra 1063 wants to know, is this what you voted for? Call 404-741-1230 and let us know on the Morning Extra.
Come on, let's take it up a notch. You would think it's Friday the way we acting around here. Playing nothing but a good time, Poison. Come on. It's just 8 o'clock on a Monday.
We're flying.
We are.
It's a big Monday.
That's right. Soaring like an eagle, some would say. Tug and Los until 10. So glad you're here. It was a crazy good weekend. It was absolutely stunning outside. People were out living life. And there was an element of crazy people bought and paid for protesting. I mean, nobody with...
Well, not enough of them.
Not enough. And
that's why the real weirdos showed up for free.
That's right. Not enough of the right type of people were out there protesting. But you know what? I was over in Augusta, Georgia all weekend, and it was stunning. You see right next to where the Augusta baseball facility is Daniel Field. And that's where all the big stars come in when they're going to go play the Masters or go watch the Masters or whatever. And I noticed an uptick Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday with the most air traffic coming into town. And I would assume that is because, a lot of these companies want to set up shop to be ready for next week, right? You don't just throw the promotion up the day, the Masters starts.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, right? So you take that week and, man, you could just see the enthusiasm growing, the city getting ready for. There were signs that said golf traffic this way. They're just ready. They know. They've been doing this for a long time. They know what to prepare for. And it was it was a great weekend, and I can't imagine that you didn't have a spectacular weekend too. With just how pretty it was. I know Los was... You probably endorsed most of it, though.
Yeah, I saw the outside once or twice.
Yeah, right. Went there just to get a breath of air.
When I watched the Braves games, so when I saw what it looked like outside. Yeah. But Truist Park, hopping 40,000 on Friday night. They did it throughout the whole weekend. I would imagine this whole homestand as they finish thing out with the Athletics, which you have to not say Oakland anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It's tough.
The Athletics.
Yep.
Why is that? Because they don't really have a home.
Yeah, right.
They'll be the Las Vegas Athletics down the road
eventually, but right now they're the Gypsies.
Yeah, right now they're just the Athletics.
That's right.
So they'll be in town. We'll get a few more games before the team heads out west. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's like I said, we're into pollen spring, so if you can fight through that,
no kidding.
We'll be all right.
The one thing I did not see in Augusta was a No Kings protest. And so I saw none. I saw zero. I thought for sure there'd be something, but no. Is zero.
Told this story almost a month ago. I was in the St. Louis airport, and it was my daughter and her teammate, some good friends of ours. This is during the time period we're stuck. We're just having to wait around to finally try and escape St. Louis. And there was a gentleman who was sitting basically 3-4 feet from me, and he's on the phone. And he's speaking very loudly, but he's talking about how we've got the protest coming up on March 28th, which I wasn't even aware there was going to be a protest on March 28th. I told Tug, apparently there's a protest on March 28th.
Be ready.
It's like No Kings. I was talking about it as I'm texting Tug. I'm like, this guy's talking about how they're not able to get enough of the people that they need there. Now, that was misconstrued and misunderstood by the left when I pointed that out over the weekend. Like, look at the millions of people we had. First off, MS Now still isn't covering it.
Wonder why?
I wonder why, because it was about who they got out there. This gentleman who was in the St. Louis airport was talking about how they weren't able to put together for the 2-hour period the right type of people. Now, what does that mean? They're trying to find people that when you put them on camera, they don't look like the 65, 70-year-old boomer white lib who has done their job of destroying a large portion of this country.
But that's all the people. That's the only people you saw out there, and
that's
they gave every excuse in the world why there wasn't more people that looked different from them out there. Talk about it used to be anything that came up. Well, look, it's just a bunch of white people that are out there. And yeah, that's what it was again, except they're all baby boomers.
I mean, consider what happened in 2024. When we were leading up to the presidential election and people were showing up at college, how many universities, especially throughout the South, during Pledge Week, did we have Donald Trump dances and all sorts of Donald Trump-oriented stuff, or sororities that were very American themed, very patriotic themed? It was one after another. That is the sort of audience that these no kings people are trying to put together. They're trying to put together a cross-section that way which win elections.
They'd love to.
They couldn't do it. So, yeah, for everyone who's like, there's 8 million, you know what? Fine. I'll go with your number. You had 8 million. Go find 70 million more and win an election.
Good luck.
You haven't won anything. You don't have the House. You don't have the Senate. You don't have the presidency. And as of now, with the Rasmussen numbers, you're a +3 in the national polling, and you're supposed to be about a +18 at this point.
And they have no leadership at all in the DNC. Nobody. There wasn't one person that mentioned who should be in office instead of Donald Trump, right? They didn't bring up, hey, Kamala would have done a better job. Or if we'd have kept Joe Biden, they would have done a better job. Nope. It was just, we hate Trump. There was nothing more than that. That's all it was. Now, most of it bought and paid for by Roy Sigmund, who's a man that made billions of dollars in Silicon Valley, then moved to China and is still funding the communist movement in the United States of America. That's where most of the money came from.
And as of now, the great hope for the Democrats is, first off, a Gavin Newsom that has a whole lot of problems once you get him outside of California. He can't run on a record. And then Kamala Harris. Now, they had to have done such an amazing job when it came to cult of personality to make her come across the way that she still polls. Whew. Because she was a loser. She's always been a loser. She's been ascended within the Democrat Party. She's never won a primary. She's never gotten a primary vote. She's never gotten one primary vote. Not one. Not ever. And yet, these are the people that are, because of a lack of leadership, polling their highest to try and go up against somebody like J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or a team of those two. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're still 2.5 years after that. You still had that much more time of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, and that you got that much more time to figure out maybe a candidate to run against. But I don't know that there's anybody there unless somebody just magically appears that hasn't been talked about, which I suppose could happen. Maybe it's a Brashear up in Kentucky, maybe. But I've heard no real discussion of that at all. Matter of fact, they never talk about who they want to run. That's the point.
So there's an old Chris Rock bit from 20 years ago, and he just talked about when you are a young man, Bryce, this is very important for you.
Take some notes.
When you make good decisions in your life, and they say life moves fast, life is short. When you make good decisions, life is short. When you make bad decisions, life is long. Maybe that's a particular woman. Maybe that's a particular man that you decide to get involved with. Life is long when you make bad decisions. And for the Democrats, whether it's Joe Biden or that when they picked Kamala Harris, right now, every week for me flies by. I'm doing a fun show, having a good time with the family, enjoying these trips that we're on, working with Bryce, working with Tug. My week flies by every single week. I'm another week, Donald Trump, okay, that was fun. For Aunt Peg, who picked Kamala,
just roasting.
2.5 years is long. Anger. It is so long for you.
Being so frustrated, and I saw her yesterday, and of course she didn't bring up anything.
She'd come over on her broom.
Welcome back home.
Hold this, Tug.
I've got to stir up some witch's brew, and then I'm going to throw it on Donald Trump. I can hear it now. It's like a cartoon. It makes no sense. But no, you're right. That she didn't bring up anything, because she normally does. She didn't bring up any of the No Kings protesters because she couldn't.
You didn't want to. They don't want to.
She was afraid of it. She knew that my rebuttal. Well, first of all, I wouldn't rebut at all. I'm not going to argue with her about anything. I don't have time for it. But she knows in my head that I'm thinking, okay, it was people like you. It was only you out there. You aren't what's going to win an election for the Democrats. You can, complain and moan I'll say
it was a
that
therapy session for all of them.
That's what it was, dude. But that's what it always is.
To get together and to complain, but there's a reason why. MS Now, which, let's face it, I mean, this is supposed to be the most liberal channel on television, and they won't cover it, and they won't air any of it.
You're 13 minutes into the top of the hour, which is the most important story of the day.
And the 7 o'clock hour had nothing.
Nothing. They've not talked about it because they know it was a complete failure.
It's a total bust.
It's a complete bust. It's exactly right. And, if you ask those people, well, what is it that you want? They would tell you they want anything but Donald Trump. And I would tell you they'd be fine with authoritarianism. They'd be fine with everything. As long as it's leftist and woke, they would take that, according to them, they would take that for the rest of time. But doesn't that sound terrible? That just woke leftists for the rest of time until they're the ones put up against the wall because they weren't woke and leftist enough. I want you to hear from this this liberal person. And they were talking about the installation of Kamala Harris, because we're talking about no kings, right, Los? And they were asked about just installing Kamala Harris.
By the way, nobody votes on a king.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
I mean, they ascend, and they don't inherit.
And they don't allow protest. That's another big thing. But listen to this person when they're challenged about the installation of Kamala Harris on No King's Day.
Out of office. Yeah. Would you like J.D. Vance to be the president then?
No, I would not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you like to be the president?
Kamala Harris right now, but she didn't win. But
Can I point out something that we say no kings and no authoritarianism, but Kamala Harris, no one voted for her.
Yes, they did. Half the country voted for her, so let's not go there.
No one was voted for her to be the nominee.
Yes, they did.
Isn't that what, authoritarian?
You're going down the wrong road right now with me. I wouldn't go any further.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's what it means.
I just think it's ironic that no one voted for her to be the nominee. They just selected her like a king gets selected, right?
But keep it to yourself, okay? Bye. Have a good day. See ya. Take care.
What's your other sign say?
You don't need to see it.
Okay.
None of your business.
All right, so let's be clear. What you saw on Saturday, that audio and video was from the first No Kings rally. It's no different. It wasn't like they had more people. That was from their original one where they're like, right after the election, we're going to have a No Kings rally. And that's what you got. And then the exact same thing. By the way, that man is in, just as we talked about.
In a crown.
He's in a crown and orange face paint. Right? The audience for this did not change. Not one bit.
But the fact that they won't talk about, they won't discuss the obvious.
That Kamala Harris has never received one vote.
And when asked, yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Arguing back, yes, she did. By who?
She has never taken part in a primary, in which case she got one vote. In fact, when she did take part in a primary,
she got less than 1%.
She bowed out.
Yep.
On the way out, then she called Joe Biden a racist.
Right. But didn't make it past Iowa.
No.
And won't. Because everybody knows what she is. I would imagine, and I don't know that I'll be the right about this, but if she's the nominee again, she's going to get less votes than she did the first time. As a presidential candidate, she will get even less because so many people are going to be dejected knowing she can't win.
Well, a full campaign does not do her any good.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, we had 120 some days, and America went, no.
No, thank
not
you. Can you imagine?
One bit. No way.
Can you imagine a full cycle?
A full calendar.
Of gaffes, of cackling, of word salad. All of that it's going to be worse for her than it was the first time.
They're in this prison of their own ideology where right now the Democrats are looking around, and I saw the suggestion over the weekend, and it probably made the most sense, and you have some of this going on in the state of Texas. State of Texas has James Tellerico that's trying to run for the Senate there. And what he is white, Christian, kind of comes off as a pretty religious man. And then you start peeling back the layers of that onion.
Just listen to him talk.
And you realize there's no difference between him and anyone on the fanatical left. He believes you shouldn't eat meat in order to save the environment. He believes that CO2 is somehow heating up the environment. He believes that you should have trans children. I mean, the very pillars of crazy left society. That's what he is.
But he wraps it in the Bible.
But this was discussed nationally. It's like, why can't the Democrats just suggest and have and put forth just a white Christian male and just see how he does. Well, ideology-wise, you can't do it.
They wouldn't allow it.
There's no way you can do it. That's why I think Gavin Newsom will eventually be chewed up by his own party. Because they'll have to find somebody else of like, well, she's a woman of color and accomplishment. I know she was Indian. She turned black over the weekend.
Maybe you saw the gender cards up in Canada. You know, we don't have to play the audio necessarily, but the Canadians were trying to elect leadership for, you know, their at their party committee or their party gathering, whatever.
Oh, no, we have time. Let's load it up. It's fun.
Do you have that one, Bryce? Okay.
Yeah, cut 12. The socialist Canadians, this is like a measurement game of like, for instance, if you've been around your friends where you argue like, who's the bigger Georgia fan? Like, well, I went to this game. Well, I've been rooting since this. Well, I did
throw
this.
your Trump card.
Well, I got the Georgia tattoo.
Yeah.
All right, this is what they're doing, but it's over equity.
There's a point of privilege on microphone 1, then we'll go to microphone 3. Go ahead, delegate.
Yes, hello. I was standing here with my gender equity card before you called on the previous speaker. That's my point of privilege that I would like to raise.
I will explain the speaking order, which is fixed, that I cannot amend, which is the pro-con rotation. You can move yourself up a line that you're standing in.
I am pro, and I was...
We went...
You went pro-con.
We went pro-con, pro, and my plan was to go con. The speaker at con mic 3 also has a speaking card.
Yesterday, this card was used in an inappropriate manner. And while I understand in Ontario we note this as equity, even if this was also used inappropriately in terms of gender. I want everyone to be mindful that these cards for individuals like myself who identify as a black woman have no value outside of this space.
Dude, what a disaster. They're fighting over who's the bigger victim and what order the biggest victims get to talk in.
I get to go first because I'm not only black, but my card says this.
My card was taken advantage of yesterday.
You don't understand. I am lesbian.
I've never seen...
Yeah, it's going to show up later.
A more foolish... Yes, yeah, definitely will. I've never seen a more foolish bunch of people in my entire life. And that's what the left is. That's what No Kings is. That's what everything that happened during COVID, when they couldn't wait to tell you which way to walk up and down the aisle at the grocery store. That's what the left is. And when they run in 2028, that's what they'll be. That's what they are. That's what they represent. That's what they'll continue to be. You do not want that. I don't think I should have to tell you that. I know you probably listening right now knows it, but maybe there's somebody. Maybe there's a liberal John or a liberal Tom or a liberal Sarah Don. What is it?
Liberal Don.
Liberal Don who's trying
to... Con.
Yes, that's right. Maybe for you. Maybe you needed to hear what leftists do. And we don't want that here.
I think if you're going to come on the show, you're going to have to start with your pronouns.
From now on.
And you have to have your equity card.
And if you leave your equity card at home, we can't help you.
Show daddy where you were hurt. And then you can speak.
Dude, what a disaster.
Sorry, Tug, I'm going to cut off your mic because Los with his con card is...
Oh, well, no.
Yeah, turn him off.
But no.
Yeah, there he goes. All right.
No. Hey.
When we get back on the Morning Extra.
Hey.
This particular network...
It's my turn.
...is now questioning what is going on when it comes to getting this bill taken care of. That's coming up next, right here on the equity version of Extra 106.3, the Morning Extra.
The president has drawn a clear line. Law and order must come first, and surrendering to mob pressure just invites more chaos. As these complicated stories unfold, you need the most trusted local and national voices of Extra 106.3 to make sense of it all. And most importantly, how it affects your family and your community. Proud to be Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO
CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
You hear bail bonds and you think one thing: someone to get you out of a jam. But A Second Chance Bail Bonds is built differently. This family-run team, led by brothers Daniel and Ryan Madelon, believes everyone deserves a second chance. And they prove it every day through the A Second Chance Community Foundation. They support local nonprofits, partner with law enforcement, and stay active in community programs, food drives, and safety initiatives. Bottom line, they don't just work in the community, they're part of it. Learn more at a2cfoundation.org. That's a2cfoundation.org.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Tax breaks are becoming more generous for those dealing with natural disasters. I'm Hillary Barsky with your Fox Business Tax Tip coming up.
It's Will Kane Country. Watch it live at noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday at foxnews.com or on the Fox News YouTube channel. And don't miss the show. Listen and follow the podcast 5 days a week at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
When dealing with natural disasters, timing is key for claiming deductions. CPA and tax attorney Alan J. Strauss says,
if it's a certified federal national disaster, you can actually claim that event on a return that hadn't yet been filed. If you haven't yet filed your 2024 return, you'd be able to claim it on that year's.
And for 2026, if it's a presidential declared disaster area,
then you could claim that event on your 2025 return, assuming you haven't yet filed your 2025 return.
Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
This is Poll Paris with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
A bunch of big takeaways in our new Fox News survey. First, nearly 2/3 are unhappy with how things are going in the country today. It's the highest dissatisfaction rating of President Trump's second term, but it's still better than at the end of the Biden administration. The economy remains central to dissatisfaction. By a 3-to-1 margin, voters rate it negatively. Most, 86%, remain worried about inflation. There is no bigger issue to voters. Also, 6 in 10 say they couldn't miss more than 2 paychecks before falling behind on their bills. Then there's this. Neither party has convinced voters it can help. About 7 in 10 say both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party lack a clear plan to bring down costs. And most dislike how Trump is handling inflation. His job rating on that is underwater by 43 points. You can find all our surveys at foxnews.com/poll. I'm Dana Blanton. That's your Poll Paris.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 30th, and here are your headlines. A new Vietnam Veterans Memorial was unveiled at Piedmont Park over the weekend, honoring 240 soldiers from Atlanta and Fulton County who never returned home. The ceremony included a parade, ribbon cutting, and speakers from across Georgia, with the memorial featuring a wall engraved with the names of fallen heroes. Despite the stuffy noses, Atlanta is not ranked one of the worst cities in the country for seasonal allergies this year, ranking 34th nationwide. Doctors say pollen levels are still above average, and experts recommend starting treatment as early as possible, as larger pollen counts will continue to worsen symptoms. And finally in Marietta, the Georgia National Guard has reopened the newly renovated South Cobb Readiness Center after an $11 million upgrade. 78th Troop Command facility will serve as the headquarters for Troop Command units who will continue to support unit mobilizations and oversee deployment training missions while maintaining steady operational tempo in support of domestic response missions at home. Today's weather will be mostly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. The Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10. Good Monday morning to you. Thank you for being here with the Morning Extra. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. I think this is, I only bring this up just because of how much attention that it's gotten. And I don't know where I would be if I were in this person's shoes. Because I remember when my father passed, like it took me a good week to kind of get back to where I needed to be. And then I wanted to get back to work to find some normalcy. And I'm thinking maybe that's what this is about. Savannah Guthrie will return to the Today Show a week from today, so next Monday. She said, I'm not going to be the same, which I don't doubt whatsoever. But I just don't, because that's such a visible role, you know, it seems like that would be so stinking hard. Because I knew with my dad, like, he had passed. I knew. With her, she didn't have any idea, dude. Like, I feel terrible for her.
So it's all a tragedy for her and for everyone else involved. There's also the other end of this, and I think this is the unfortunate end of this. I mean, it's all unfortunate, but as far as she looked at it as I'm in the media, and let's face it, liberal within the media.
Sure.
The liberal media left her and her family as soon as they saw the images of who might have done this and went, Mexicans.
Yeah.
As soon as they went, yeah, we think that might be an illegal, or that might be cartel. In some way.
Anywhere it goes.
One way or another.
It was bad.
Once the politics turned on her, they stopped looking, they stopped caring, they stopped discussing it, they stopped airing it. And remember, it was wall to wall.
Every day. Fox News led the charge. They were on it more than anybody else. I mean, for days, maybe even weeks. It was nothing but this. And then,
gone. Never to be spoken of again because the politics of it abandoned her family.
So much so that she's going back to work next Monday. Dude, they're going to get, this is going to sound awful, but it's the truth. They're going to get the biggest rating spike they've maybe ever had just because of her presence. Wondering what will she say.
Well, the biggest one that we had for The View was the morning after the election when Donald Trump had won. So I imagine you're going to get that same sort of bump because I'll be curious. I want to see the videos of how she handles herself and what she says. And I think you're resolved to know that, and I think when you see some of the videos now when they've made public statements, they know mom's gone. They want mom back. Just tell us where we can bring her home and get her buried.
And be done.
And this is some closure for us.
Some closure.
And the fact that they can't get to that point, I think is also a part of this entire tragedy.
It'll be interesting, man.
But her allies left her and her family high and dry. Once the politics changed, that's what they did.
How ugly is that?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't meet our political standards. It doesn't meet what we want to show and want. It veers off from the narrative that we can't support you anymore. That's got to be a lonely place.
Like Elizabeth Smart, when she was abducted by a fanatical white, that was the key part, guy who believed that he was talking to God and that this is the way he wanted to have this harem and have these people live. The story continued. And then once it broke that she was alive, the story went even more massive because of what it involved. As soon as they started arresting people that did not fit the narrative, that it turned into, hey, this looks like it might be like some sort of illegal or cartel violence against this woman, the story went away. They just said,
washing our hands of it.
Got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Can't bring it up. It's too inflammatory. We have to maintain the position that these people are supposed to be here.
Then move over to ABC News. You had Representative Jim Himes from Connecticut talk about how he was prepared and the Democrats are prepared and preparing litigation against Donald Trump, asking judges to prevent him from illegally paying TSA agents. They're so obsessed with what they feel like they had, which was leverage against the Trump administration, that they're willing to sue to make sure TSA agents don't get paid. It's the most surprising, yet not surprising at all, situation that I've ever seen.
A moment of accidental journalism. We had it over the weekend because you did have one Democrat after another that they were talking in a similar way that we were talking on Friday. We kept making the point, this is how everybody left town from the Senate, and that, well, there's no funding for ICE. And as the point we made, hey, ICE is funded through 2029. It's like, this is how they ended up leaving town. Well, so ABC News, when they started to get the talking points of what had gone on, and as we said, it's like you basically went 40-some days, you wanted policy changes with ICE, you got nothing. But the rest of DHS, as far as some of the other departments, they want funded. Okay, that didn't occur, but again, that's why the House is sending it right back to the Senate with all the, here, y'all deal with it again. Y'all get a weekend off it. You're dealing with it again. Take a listen to how ABC News, when they were having to explain what was affected, what was not affected, this was the accidental piece of journalism over the weekend.
I guess what's confusing here is you have fought and blocked the funding for the Department of Homeland Security because you object, as you just outlined, to what ICE has been doing. And you wanted to force changes. And yet, the only thing that has been assured throughout all of this is that ICE already has the money. Because as you said, $75 billion passed in the budget bill last year. So you're holding up the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security because you object to ICE and you want changes to ICE. But through it all, ICE continues to have the money it needs.
John, we're not holding up all of the money for all the Department of Homeland Security. That's just a false statement. We have said repeatedly, repeatedly, we should fund TSA, we should fund FEMA, we should fund the Coast Guard. We are not prepared to give ICE another $10 billion on top of the monies they already have and are using in many of these lawless operations. We're not going to give them another $10 billion unless they make fundamental reforms, including holding people accountable for the killing of American citizens.
And fighting over that additional $10 billion, you are holding up the rest of Department of Homeland Security.
We're not holding it up. I mean, no, John, we're not holding it up. We have now voted 10 times.
Right, but you're holding up unless it doesn't include money for ICE. That's just a fact.
Chris Van Hollen is trying to spin it. Now, remember how the spin was Thursday night going into Friday morning, that ICE was defunded. Remember, that was their first one.
Chuck Schumer came out screaming,
"We defunded ICE." No, you didn't defund ICE. ICE is already funded. And by the time that the political winds have changed, and now the news media is actually caught on to, what exactly did y'all accomplish?
Nothing.
And Van Hollen's sitting there, we didn't want to give them another $10 billion.
Yeah.
On top of the $70 billion they already have. Come on. That's how badly the optics are going against them. Where even ABC News, which you go there because ABC News is a friendly place to Democrats, and you ran into accidental journalism.
Dude, the fact that people already knew. So when Chuck Schumer went out there and he was celebrating and the Democrats were celebrating, everybody already knew that they had won nothing. They had accomplished nothing.
We defunded ICE.
And then they see Donald Trump taking ICE, actually the people that they're rallying against, and using them effectively at the airports. I even saw over the weekend how the Atlanta airport, there was no waiting, no lines. I saw ICE agents checking IDs, scanning people through.
Well, Tug, they haven't been trained to do so.
Seems like they did a pretty good job. Maybe it's just a really easy job to do. I don't know. I've never done it.
I'm just guessing.
Something tells me that these ICE officers can probably look at your ID, scan it, and whatever the information is says, yep, this person's good to go, or, hey, maybe want to check this person out.
Your boarding pass and your ID don't match. I think we might have a problem here.
Let's take a look. But that was the thing over the weekend that stood out to me the most, because they declared victory, and yet everything they wanted to happen, every bit of pain that they wanted the American people to feel, didn't happen. Had it happened early in the week? Sure. Early in the morning specifically. But as the day wore on, things got better. And all weekend long, looked like there was no problems at any airports.
We talk about Norm and Norma, about how they're not as plugged in. And that's fine. You don't have to be. You come to our show, we'll plug you in a little bit. So we got to the volleyball courts. We had an 8 o'clock match on Saturday morning. And my wife basically took a very early flight from D.C. Didn't have one issue. Landed here, and she was asked by a couple of the parents. She's like, well, how was it? She's like, well, it was like 2 hours to get through the Atlanta airport when I left, but there was nothing in D.C. And then she looks at me, she goes, well, aren't they like fixing it? I go, well, I was like, we've had an executive order that's going to pay for this. I was like, but as far as the process that by which this is supposed to happen, it has not occurred. And I'm like, but these people are now going to be paid and compensated, and so you would imagine your TSA are going to be back where they're supposed to be. At no point did any one of those parents say, well, what do you mean they didn't pass the appropriations bill? At no point did they say, well, what about budget reconciliation? All they cared about was,
is it easy?
Did he sign an executive order? Okay.
What were you able to do what normal people are able to do every day?
That's all they cared about, Tug.
Right.
And that's all they care about. And that's all Donald Trump is trying to do. And your only problem with it is coming from the Democrats that designed this scenario to make things hard on Americans.
And now plan to sue, as I started with. Jim Himes from Connecticut. Yeah, we're planning to sue. We want it to continue to be hard for you. If that doesn't wave arms, wave flags, if that doesn't put a spotlight on what you should do in November in the midterms, I don't know what else does.
But that's for you and me. That's for this audience. My wife, the Norma, the women she was talking to at the court, the other Normas, all they know is this still happening or not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a simple yes or no.
And
it's
I'm
a black and white question.
If I was to say, hey, listen, there's a senator out of Connecticut who's decided to sue because they want to make this continue to be hard on you. They don't know anything about that person.
Yeah, you would have to explain it. Yeah, that makes sense. It does.
But that's the fight here.
I know.
Yeah.
And I hope you get the message out. I hope you tell people to listen to the show so they get the message because they ain't hearing it anywhere else.
But that's the counter of having ICE agents in the airport making things move quickly. That Norm and Norma, all they're trying to do is get to
Get from
Aruba.
A to B. Yeah, get to A to B.
They're just trying to get to the Caribbean. They're just
For
trying
spring
to
break.
hey, you know what? I'm going to go see my family over in Idaho. I just don't want to miss my plane. They don't care. They don't give a rip how it's done. And they don't care that Trump had to sign an executive order to do it.
Don't tell me how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Just get me the sausage.
And then when the Democrats play defense on this, they still don't care.
No, that's right.
They won't blame them.
But I think it's good to spotlight it. That way,
yes,
you listening right now, when you have that discussion with Norm and Norma that don't care, be like, oh, by the way, if it goes back to being hard, here's why.
The best thing that can happen when you talk to your coworkers, your neighbors, anyone else that you run into with this conversation, if you do a good enough job of explaining what is going on, they're going to ask you one question. Well, why would they do that? Why? And that's when you can say, it's politics. The Democrats want to make life hard on you.
That way you vote for them.
So that you will think about voting for them in November.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. The truth about journalists when they finally do leave or are asked to leave those mainstream media outlets. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 30th. The Final Four is now set as the final two teams advanced on Sunday in the men's college basketball tournament. 1 seed Michigan breezed past Tennessee, 95-62, the final in the game of the day in the East region. 1 seed Duke is now out after an improbable last-second turnover and three-point shot that sends them to a 73-72 loss to UConn. Those teams now join join Illinois and Arizona in the Final Four Saturday night. The Braves, they took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend despite a 4-1 home loss to end the series on Sunday. The Braves will host the Athletics starting Monday evening for the first of a 3-game series before heading out west to Arizona for a Thursday evening matchup with the Diamondbacks. Again, all of the action be heard on our sister station, 680 The Fan and the Fan app. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Opioids can start as a prescription for pain, but misuse can happen quickly, and addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. Take medications only as prescribed. Never share them and store and dispose of them safely. If you or someone you love is struggling, help is available. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Prevention starts with awareness. Learn more at georgiaopioidhelp.org. Sponsored by the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust.
Shop in the new 2026 Toyota Camry? Psst, come here. Make your move right now during Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event now through March 31st. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. And you can buy with confidence. Marietta Toyota is a BBB A+ rated business with a 4.6-star Google rating and over 11,000 reviews. Right now, we've got strong Camry inventory, so you can choose the trim and color you actually want. Special APR is available as well on new 2026 Camrys, 4.99% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. Visit us on Cop Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium, Marietta Toyota. Since 1975, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. Offer ends 3/31/26. Lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for details.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything. And like you, I'm sick of career politicians. I'm running for governor to lead America in criminal deportations, to cut income taxes in half, freeze our insane property taxes, reform the system so that anyone who can work will work, and not just sit around binge watching Netflix and eating Cheetos. I'll let law enforcement do their job. And if you're caught helping a child change their sex, you're going to jail. I'm Rick Jackson, and I'll get these done. Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. A Senate bill aimed at making housing more affordable should be a slam dunk for Republicans, especially with their affordability message. But it's exposing GOP disarray on the very cost of living issues that voters care most about in an election year. President Trump could break the impasse between the two chambers, but he's shown little interest in helping advance the centerpiece of the party's efforts to address rising costs ahead of the midterms. The president appears to have reversed himself. He began the year pressing Congress to codify a provision to ban institutional investors from buying single-family homes. He then told House Republicans that nobody cares about housing. Instead, he said the most important thing that Congress can do is pass the partisan election bill known as the Save America Act. The struggle among Republicans over how to address affordability could tip the balance in either chamber of Congress this November. Fueling voter discontent is a housing market in which the average age of a first-time homebuyer is at a record high, 40. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
It's March 30th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Virtual Vacation Day. We all need to take some time away from the job to rest, rejuvenate, and refocus. But what if we didn't need to leave our homes to visit the beaches of Australia, climb some of the world's highest mountains, or even visit another planet? That's the beauty of virtual reality technology. A VR headset could be all you need to help unwind from a tough week at the office, or if you simply need some me time to reset. Also on this date, in 1867, the U.S. signs a treaty with Russia which finalized the purchase of Alaska for $7.2 million, or roughly 2 cents per acre. Secretary of State William H. Seward was ridiculed for the deal as members of Congress called the purchase Seward's folly. And in 2020, the International Olympic Committee announced the postponement of the Summer Games in Tokyo, Japan, due to the global coronavirus pandemic. It will be held in the summer of 2021. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
From
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
What you learn about the mainstream media people and personalities that leave mainstream media outlets. What you learn every time. Give me 60 seconds, we'll tell you that. I want to share with you a lady named Angela King. She, 22 minutes ago, posted herself inside Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And she says, shout out to Donald Trump and ICE.gov. I was running late for a flight, and somehow the airport line disappeared. Meanwhile, the reporters are standing around the airport looking like they lost their storyline. Turns out things are running smoothly. Nothing dramatic to report. And she's walking through the TSA line that is being operated by ICE agents with no issue whatsoever. And you can see the people behind her just moving along. And for the most part, the concourse is completely empty. She even does a little video with an ICE agent who steps away. He's like, no. You're not dragging me in the middle of this. But he did smile as he backed away when she was doing her little report. So shout out to Angela King for backing up the conversation that we just had. You know, that ICE they were able to fix so much of this that the Democrats wanted to cause a problem with.
Tom Homan talked about it over the weekend. Them being able to provide operational security, which is we're not going to see them running any of like the X-ray machines. But if you can get someone who's certified, who can actually sit at that X-ray machine and not have to worry about them having to patrol the outer perimeter, because TSA is part of that's what they do. I mean, they take care of the whole airport. If ICE can fill in there, then that keeps more people working in a capacity that allows them to move people faster through line.
Now, on to mainstream media.
Oh, yes.
When a mainstream media personality all of a sudden is either let go or they choose to move on, there is something that you learn about them, and they seem to all have this one trait, Los.
I've loved Adam Carolla for 20-some years. Like, we tried to turn Bryce on to Loveline. I don't know if he'll ever partake in Loveline of old school Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. And even at some point, when Comedy Central was like starting to get cooking, part of it was the Man Show.
For sure.
Man Show had some fun skits.
Just go watch the opening, Bryce, of the Man Show. That's kind of tell you everything you need to know.
I mean, they would go to break with, and now it's time for girls on trampolines. Yeah. And it would just be girls on trampolines.
Usually in bikinis.
And that's just what it was.
Do its thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was part of the Man Show. Well, Adam Carolla, he is the OG when it comes to having a celebrity, a comedian, who then decided I'm going to get into the broadcast/podcast world because he's done radio. Then he started doing his own thing in the podcast world. And he is like the first guy to show you this can be done and you can actually pay for it on your own. You can actually create a network and there will be advertisers. So, like, the guy's been all through the media. Like, this is not something new when he comments on the media. Well, Adam Carolla, as part of an interview, he surmised, in my opinion, very well, what happens to those people that used to be under the umbrella of, let's say, a CNN or an NBC or CBS, and what happens when they get out in the world?
I don't have anything against her personally. Yeah. My feeling is, and here's my beef with her. She is the legacy media, and all these people are, they're all, Don Lemon is right down the middle and everything. Yeah. As soon as they get off the reservation, they're all hard leftists, which is who they were the whole time. So it's sort of like you're sitting around going, I'm not vegan. And as soon as you quit your job, meat is murder, right? Well, that's how you were thinking the whole time. Right. So now I don't really believe that you were doing a sort of fair and balanced job.
He started out talking about Katie Couric and how Katie Couric, as soon as she got away from doing the show, now the real Katie Couric came out and you went, wow, she's way out there. I mean, she helped personally derail campaigns. I mean, that was what her job was. And yet she did it under the guise of, no, I'm a legit journalist.
But I think everybody already knows that. Adam Carolla is just pointing out what we all already know. But I guess if you needed more evidence, here it is.
Tug, 20 years ago, I told my mom that Anderson Cooper has his boyfriend on set.
And she probably did not believe you.
She went, Anderson Cooper's gay?
Okay.
All right, this is how these people operate. What do you mean Don Lemon has a husband and he's a leftist?
Yeah, that's right.
He seems so nice to me.
That's right. Because he's feeding you all the information that you want to hear.
It's one after another. If you're getting into these positions, it's because here's something that the right has always gotten completely wrong. Here's where the conservative doesn't get this sort of stuff. So when you had the IRS scandal under Barack Obama, where you had, I believe it was Lois Lerner, who was targeting conservative groups and their 501c3 status. And people thought to themselves, well, Barack Obama probably told her to do it. Somebody probably told her. No. They get into those positions because they already know what to do. Mm-hmm. They don't have to be told.
They don't have to be told.
Not one of them has to be told. It's the same concept. As you grow within the media, the reason why you keep ascending is because they already know your politics and you don't have to be told. You know what to do.
Because you already agree with the people that are in charge and what they want you to do. Y'all have the same ideology, man. It's like holding the hands. It's hand in glove, spoken wheel.
I can't believe Barack Obama didn't tell her to do it. He didn't have to.
He didn't have to.
He didn't have to tell any of these people what, because they wouldn't have gotten to their position if they didn't know what to do. That's a mistake on our part for somehow believing, outside of the Podesta emails, where there's actually the talking points that go out to the media. Most of the time, they don't need the talking points. They already know.
Yeah, they've been briefed.
They've been conditioned for it.
The surprising one is when you hire your boo to go to the White House. Now, that one probably you didn't see coming.
Didn't really see the fact that you actually had a scenario where I'm going to hire my boo, and he's going to work 26 hours a day.
That's right.
2 more. He's like Amish.
Yeah.
There's only 24, but he adds in 2 more.
We're working so hard, we're squeezing in 2 extra hours.
The taxpayer has to pay him because he's got to get Trump.
But the fact that she fell into that trap, that Fonnie Willis was the one that didn't know the talking points. She didn't know what to do when she got in there. They're like, hey, we need to
listen. We got to talk about this.
We got to let you
explain what this is happening here.
That's right.
Let me try and
she still got it wrong.
And she still got it wrong. I mean, that's why you try and find the left needs to always make sure they find good leftists, and they do exist out there. They can find them that are pretty sharp at what they're doing. Fonnie Willis just ain't one of them.
No, she's definitely not. It's always crazy. Like, let's take Jake Tapper for a second. His book, he knew all that before the book. He already knew. He had the talking points. He knew what they were saying. He knew what was really happening, and he knew what to say on CNN. And it wasn't until Joe Biden was out of office, when it was safe, that he felt like he could use the stuff he already knew in a book and then make a boatload of cash on being a leftist.
Yes, it had to be after Joe was out. He's like, I don't think you understand. Like, he eats all the goldfish in the White House. No, like the ones in the bowls.
Yeah.
Like the living ones. And he started telling all the stories. Yeah. You're like, well, why didn't you tell us that 6 months ago?
Oh, they told me. They told me he was fine. That was his answer. Remember?
I wasn't aware until then.
They told me, the administration told me he was fine. That's the information I had. Well, then how do you have all this information to put in the book? Where did it all come from?
You got like 200 pages worth of this man is like wearing a diaper and babbling.
Goodness. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
He's outworking all of us. He works us all under the table, Nancy Pelosi.
I don't know if I believe you. I'm not sure I believe this. And understandably, he knew the whole time. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com, to keep that Georgia snow outside of your house so you don't have to sneeze inside. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. NATO is like an abusive husband. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Late night TV used to be absolutely great, especially the era of Johnny Carson. Nobody will ever be as good at this as he was. One of the worst right now, the worst, is Jimmy Kimmel. Now, it's well known Jimmy Kimmel absolutely hates Donald Trump. Donald Trump can't do anything right. And that includes making Senator Markwayne Mullin the new Homeland Security Secretary. Jimmy Kimmel, the great, tried to slam Mullin by just saying, "Oh, this is fantastic. We now have a plumber protecting us from terrorism." That's right. Markwayne Mullin used to be a plumber. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel didn't tell you, and here's what the Democrat-supporting sycophant media supporters won't tell you either. Yes, I guess we could say that Markwayne Mullins was a plumber. His family, you didn't know this, was in the plumbing business, and Senator Mullin took that plumbing business and leveraged it into a mini business empire in Oklahoma, including real estate business, construction company, and a restaurant. The Democrats like to make a big deal that Mullin is the only U.S. senator without a 4-year degree. Well, he was in college when his father became ill. He had to quit to take over control of the business. And then what did he do? He built that business empire in Oklahoma. Remember, the business of America is business. The Democrats would have given him more respect, as would the media, if he had a degree in gender studies. So typical. Democrats and the media have a sense of absolute disdain for somebody who actually works for a living and builds a business empire. Better you should be a full-time leech on society, like, for instance, Joe Biden. Democrats making idiots of themselves yet again. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6.
Donald Trump is going to be in charge of changing the entire world. We got Venezuela, we're getting Iran, we stopped the Gaza business. He's going to basically back down Russia and everybody else. He's going to go get Cuba next. You know we're getting Cuba. I mean, this is hysterical. You know, the Western Hemisphere is going to be ours again. You know he's going to get Greenland.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. The Morning Xtra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
A new, more reasonable regime in Iran. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump on Truth Social says there are serious discussions with that regime to end the U.S.-Israel military operation there. Fox Business correspondent Rich Edson at the White House.
President Trump says he's having very good negotiations with the Iranians. He says he will probably cut a deal with them, but he says it's possible he does not. With the U.S. boosting its troop presence in the region, the Speaker of Iran's parliament accused the president of negotiating while secretly planning a ground invasion. Now, there are more questions from Congress about that troop presence and whether the president plans on using them in a ground invasion. The president says he has options,
including, he says, seizing Iran's Karg Island oil refinery and destroying water and energy infrastructure. Spain says it's closed airspace to U.S. military planes involved in the Iran conflict, which Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has described as illegal, reckless, and unjust. Spain had already said the U.S. could not use jointly operated military bases for Iran operations. Fox confirms airport TSA agents are starting to be paid for the first time during what's now a 45-day-long partial government shutdown. Fox's Madison Scarpino at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
We've spoke with several TSA workers who tell us they are already seeing money in their accounts and finally some relief here in Atlanta after days of massive lines. Now, one TSA worker we spoke with says that they are grateful for all of this, but with hundreds quitting and thousands calling out, he's unsure how much the order will change things. But what is helping TSA are ICE agents. ICE was initially helping with managing lines, controlling crowds, but now a lot of them are checking people's IDs, helping out with getting their bags into the scanner before the TSA checkpoint. So those TSA workers who still are on the job can focus on specialty screening.
Those TSA agents are being paid with other Homeland Security funding. At least one telling Fox his paycheck was 30 hours short of what he's worked so far. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage that big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Coffee, Case, and Extra 106.3. That's how I get to work and home.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. Dude, the music feels like Friday.
Gotta start the week off.
Yeah, you did. You done well. I like it. We had some Poison earlier, now some GNR. Oh, so welcome to the jungle. Dude, this is what you get into. You get the gym, turn this on, it is banging out weights. To get you fired up right here.
I got to get one after the show.
What's that? A workout in?
Got to get one in.
Yeah.
Finally got that morning where things hopefully will not be that crazy. Get home, get a little bit of that time in. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be good. Because I only got one workout day in last week, and it was just hectic week, crazy week.
Hectic week, last few weeks.
Yeah, and so I didn't get in the gym but one time last week, and I'm not like musclehead gym guy or anything like that.
Tug's like, I got to throw it around.
Yeah,
You look bigger from whenever I started on the show.
Yeah, it's out huge, even, probably.
It's a chest. He just keeps growing. He's like, ooh.
I hold it out more. You know? No, but you notice a difference. Like, if you start getting in there, with routine, you notice a difference in how you feel. And
I had a good one run until the last month.
Yeah, well.
But then
you've been traveling.
I did a couple of the hotel ones, but it's never the same. And it feels weird because I'm around. Like, when you have a regular gym, then there's like regular people you're around. When you're in a hotel, it feels just
weird.
Yeah, it's odd.
It's funny you say that because the last 2 weekends, I've taken gym clothes with me to take advantage of the hotel gym and did it neither time for that exact same reason. I was like, this feels weird.
Gym clothes to a hotel are a formality.
What's that?
Gym clothes at a hotel are just a formality. You're not going to use them.
No, right. Yeah, and I didn't.
Just in case.
And I didn't. Yeah, I just completely did not at all. But maybe one day. I just want to get back in my routine. That's all. I like my routine. I want to get back in my routine.
Because your guy, now that he took a liking to you, he stopped beating you with sticks. You knew about this, Bryce. He hits them with sticks.
Yeah, it was like what's the stick you throw on your shoulder?
Stick?
Yeah, that you kind of flex with or stretch with, I guess.
Well, like a PVC pipe?
No, it was almost like a broomstick. But
he would hit him with a broomstick.
That's what it looked like. And he was like, "You got one more rep. That's right. Get it done. Quit being weak. Good job." Yeah, this dude was All-American at Penn State, Team USA wrestler. Dude, I'm telling you, he's like 65 and in the best shape of anybody I've ever seen my whole life. It's impressive. But I just want to get back into my routine because it feels nice. I wake up refreshed. I sleep better, because you put a little effort in there. And again, anybody that's seen me knows I'm not in, I don't have the physique of a champion by any means, but I do feel better.
You got a Greek god build.
You're our champion.
Yes, well, that's all that matters. That's really what I wanted to be. I just want to be.
You're our AMA finalist.
Yes, absolutely. AMA?
Isn't that what it is?
ACM.
ACM.
Sorry,
ACM.
yes. Yeah, I lost that. I told you I was going to lose, and I did.
Who won?
Chattanooga? They always win. I told
We
you.
didn't do enough ass kicking, Los.
As soon as I saw Chattanooga's name on there, I knew the Academy of Country Music would go with it, Chattanooga.
It's a double-edged sword. I'm sure the reason why you got the nomination is because of your stories and your storytelling and how much fun that you have on the air. At the same time, once you bring up me, I just know that from the history, that pretty much eliminates you from local sports television, local sports radio, really anything that has to do with like credible areas.
And Los is either a daily or every other day fixture on the show. Anytime I talk about stuff that we would discuss on the show, I always bring in Los to bring in the other side of the conversation, right? Here's what my buddy Los says about the pyramids. Or whatever it is that I'm discussing.
For instance, the original endorser in the marketplace and when they first started off of Prize Picks was myself and another employee, Brian Hoyt, who is since no longer at the radio station. But Bryce Hoyt and I were the guys. Like, we were the ones that were doing it. Then, as they have grown, and I love Prize Picks, love playing Prize Picks, now it's Clay and Buck. And not so much Buck. Okay, like Clay talks about Prize Picks and they pick their games. When it was brought to my attention that Prize Picks might consider coming over here, I think the first response is he that alien guy? So
yes,
kind of got an issue there.
Well, see, but that's ridiculous. I mean,
is he the one who brought up MK Ultra? I don't know.
Might be the guy.
You know, Clay doesn't do any of that. He doesn't bring up any of the weird conspiracy theory. Clay believes we landed on the moon.
You're pretty much convinced of it, right? You're pretty much.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly convinced of it.
Mostly, sort of.
I think your example of what might have happened is the best explanation that maybe I've ever heard. And that is, yes, we went, but we didn't have the technology to make those pretty photographs that we ended up with. So those may have been staged. And I think that's the most logical answer.
I think that, considering how far and what they were doing, I think that makes the most sense given what they took pictures of.
Because I'll be honest, I never ever questioned at all. Like most Americans, I just never even questioned it. You know, for whatever reason. And then when it got brought up, and I was like, And then when you brought up the pictures, I was like, oh, wait, that actually does happen.
Why haven't we been back?
Well, isn't that the giant question?
That's the big question.
I spoke to somebody, and anonymity, not going to bring up who they are, but I will just say that when we discussed the pyramids in Egypt, we had a pretty interesting discussion.
This weekend.
When we talked about MK Ultra, we had a pretty interesting discussion. And I'll just say she had a lot to say about the moon.
I love it. I think
and I didn't have to say much of anything. I just sat back. I was like,
check.
As my poor wife was just sitting next to us going,
oh, no.
I'm in Conspiracy Theory Central, aren't I?
Oh, no.
Like, yes,
what have I done by introducing these two? I love it. 404-741-1230 if you've got good conspiracy theories that we can go through. 9 o'clock hour, you just never know what's going to happen. We talk about it all the time. It gets off the rails on the crazy train.
I'm building one for next Friday.
A long tease.
Yeah, we'll get into a good conspiracy theory that we can break down and do a whole segment on.
I love it. I love it. So this Friday or next?
This Friday.
This coming Friday. Okay.
This coming Friday, we'll try and get one in. I'm developing it. I'm working on. I'm in the lab with the pen and the pad.
That's right. Alongside your draft guide.
That's right.
You have to go back and forth.
I've got so much. At this point now, I think I have to do the offensive line, all of them. I have to do the edge players and the defensive tackles, and and the corners. I forgot. I haven't done corners yet. So I've still got about 20-some guys that I have to go through. I'm hoping to be able to have the draft guide out by second week in April.
What's it for? Like, are you going to publish it on like social media or?
It'll go out. So see, this is where Bryce doesn't know about this. Oh, sweet, clean Bryce. So every year at this radio station since 2011, this radio company, I've done a draft guide. And it went from 2011 to 2024. In 2025, I had most of it done. We moved. And in the month of April, as management's like, hey, where's your guide? I'm like, you ain't getting it this year.
Sorry about your luck.
I was like, this is not happening. I can't finish it. This year, I will have it finished. I will have it done. Top 50 prospects. I'll have an entire top 50 board. I'll have, at that point, watched everybody, probably a good 200-300 snaps. And so it'll be out well before the draft, a couple weeks before. That's the goal.
I was just asked if I could get Ella Langley to come by the radio station. Like, hang on. You mean the biggest artist of all?
I support.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's easy on the eyes, too. And like, she's coming over here to play Trust Park. Surely you can get her to drop by. You're an old ACM award nominee. Surely she'll come by. I was like, there's no way. She's not coming in to talk about sports, even though she's an Alabama fan. She's not coming in to talk about conspiracy theories with us here. She's not coming in to talk about any of those things.
You don't know that.
I do. I'm almost 100% positive.
They're told typically by handlers not to have these discussions with us.
Whatever. Avoid.
So what do you think? Do you think we landed on the moon?
I would love to know what Ella Langley thinks about that. I would love
Ella, let's get into the brass tacks. I know you got a tour coming up, but
I know that you're the biggest artist in all of country music right now. I know your career is blown up like nobody else. What do you think about those pyramids? Who built them and why did they build them? Could you elaborate on that?
Ella, have you heard about the ticks?
That's right.
It's legitimate. I mean, we're not Lone Star ticks.
That's right.
We got problems there.
That's right.
Glad we covered that.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Now you all know. Lone Star ticks.
And if you didn't, you can go back and listen to it on the app. It's available for you there. Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. So you know the chaos that happens around there. And there's only 3 of us. We don't have 150 like the Views, just the 3 of us. Putting it all together for you. Now to the first thing you should know.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. Man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
You're better than that, man.
Put a boot in your ass, courtesy of the Morning Xtra here.
I've told you for how long that I wanted to get us out of NATO. I've told you over and over and over again. Get us out of NATO. They provide nothing. We provide everything. We funded it for the last 50 years and gotten zero back. We have nothing. We get nothing back. And that's why you saw the NATO secretary praising Donald Trump, talking about how all the European countries were going to come to our aid. And how many have? Yeah, exactly. There's a new one out there that the French are putting together, a 35-country contingency to support what we're doing in Iran. And they want to specifically focus on the Straits of Hormuz because of the trade that goes back and forth through there. And the French said, yeah, a lot of people are on board when the war's done.
Oh, of course.
Well, of course you are.
Thank you.
Of course you are. Which is why NATO is such a complete and utter waste of time. And that's why George Washington said, do not get mired in European wars and issues. Do not do it. And yet we have.
And it was important during that time period because Europe was fighting every couple of years. Every few years, you would have a multitude of governments, whether it was over colonial aspects or whether it was actually on the home front. These people would go at it with one another. And he was right. It's like you will get bogged down in their politics. Now it's different. When you say, hey, the French are putting together 35 countries, I would say, well, what are they planning to do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
They're planning to do nothing.
We've got 35 that have all decided that we're going to sit on our hands. Thank you, Pierre.
Until the war is taken care of, until there's no more fighting. And then we'll come and contribute in some way. No, you're going to mooch off of us. Continue to mooch off of us. I want you to hear from Batya Ungar-Sargon. She said Europe's like a deadbeat husband. Listen to this.
The media desperately wants you to think that we are losing in Iran. Yep, that's right. We are losing, despite eviscerating the Islamic regime's military capabilities and forcing them to reconsider a deal in which they commit to stop enriching uranium. It's not over yet. The president has given the regime 10 days to agree to the deal, and he could still put boots on the ground, something that I and many others who back his aims in Iran would not support. But for now, the war has been an unbelievable success. You wouldn't know it from the way it's being covered. And it's not just the American press. The Economist is trying desperately to convince you that Iran is winning. For now, at least, the advantage lies with the Islamic Republic, read their cover. This is just wishful thinking. We've obliterated Iran's navy and ballistic capabilities. Their nuclear ambitions are a pipe dream. And while the Strait of Hormuz is still somewhat closed, oil is back down to under $100 a barrel. And Trump says Iran shipped him 8 oil tankers as a gift. The godless elites in Europe and America are actually rooting for Iran because it is fighting Trump. Our European allies are refusing to show up and pull their weight. Like the Democrats, Europe is enjoying the fruits of a mission they will, under duress, admit is in the world's best interest, protecting our grandkids from having to face off against a nuclear-armed Iran. But they want the privilege of freeloading off of the benefits of that mission while complaining about it, holding their noses and pretending to be above it. But you know who's rooting for Trump and the United States to win? The Saudis, who urged the president to bomb Iran and are now begging him not to stop until the job is done. The UAE, who have promised to send troops if necessary to join the effort. Bahrain and Qatar, too, are solidly in our corner, as is Israel, whose cooperation has been indispensable. This isn't surprising. Iran has shot ballistic missiles at all of its Gulf neighbors over the past 4 weeks. Of course, they support our efforts in the region. But the president has a deep relationship with Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, known as MBS, who, along with the UAE and Qatar, has committed trillions of dollars in manufacturing to the U.S. This friendship isn't one-sided, unlike some others we could name.
Yeah,
Forget
like the
Europe,
Europeans,
real allies
where she
are
would
in the
go on
Gulf
to say,
countries.
are treating us like an abusive husband. They take advantage of everything. They want you to earn your keep. They want you to take care of everything while they sit at home. They don't have to do anything. They put together an imaginary group of 35 people or 35 different countries that will contribute nothing until the war is at hand and over. That's what an abusive relationship looks like, and that's what we've been in the entirety of NATO.
I think it is important to recognize that Donald Trump is not amongst the establishment. Not only in this country, but as well with Europe. Europe is about the establishment. We have story after story, whether it's, we can go with what's happened in Ireland. When Ireland started to push for, hey, we want Ireland to be for the Irish. And their establishment's like, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
You can't do that.
They're talking about putting people in jail for saying it.
You have issues that have gone on in Spain as they are a slow creep towards an authoritarian government that is more than happy to put down its citizens if they need to be put down. Their assisted suicide rate is going through the roof. There is an issue going on across Europe that the establishment is looking over at us and saying, well, the biggest two threats that we deal with are Putin and Trump. Well, we're not working with this guy.
Ever.
And then they're ready to swoop in after he's already won.
That's the only time
they're going to pick the bones of the carcass like some sort of buzzard.
That's what they always do. And that's why I've been telling you from the get-go, get us out of NATO. Do not bog us down with this any longer. This is not beneficial for the United States. But NATO's not beneficial for the United States. We're over there doing the work. The oil that we get is less than 2% from the Straits of Hormuz. You know who gets oil from those straits? Europe, Russia, China. Those are the people that are benefiting. Do I think it's a good idea to take out the mullahs and the crazies in Iran? Absolutely, I do. But Europe needs to have a hand in this, and they are sitting back on their hands instead.
And by the way, this is a 6-mile area. That is what the strait is. We're talking about from just a seagoing perspective. This is not asking a tremendous amount to pull your end of patrols. And yet they're like, well,
no, we're not doing it.
Just make sure the oil keeps coming.
You got the Saudis, as she mentioned, as Bacha mentioned, the Saudis that are like, okay, we're willing to get into this fight. The Emiratis that are willing to contribute as a nation against Iran and in partnership with America and Israel. Those two stand out the most. And at some point, I expect Donald Trump's going to ask them to recognize Israel as a nation. And when that happens, it's over, dude. That will be the biggest You think moving the embassy to Jerusalem was a big deal? Wait till you get Saudi Arabia and the Emiratis both recognizing Israel as a nation, flying in the face of the Iranians.
15, 16 years ago, during the Obama administration, probably the last thing you would have imagined is that not only there'd be a recognition through much of the Middle East in the right for Israel to exist, but it's also a nation, and they're partnered with the rest of the Middle East against Iran. Like, go back in that time machine, explain that one the way that Barack Obama had set up the Middle East.
No one would have guessed that you could have pulled this off. No one. Zero, myself included. I would have never in a million years guessed that one day we would see the Saudis and the Emiratis saying, we're going to partner with the United States and Israel against Iran. Never, ever, ever would I have seen that or even guessed it. And I know you wouldn't either. You probably hope for it, but not guessed it. If you don't like AI, well, Dana White has a strong message for you. Next on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Extra 106.3 and crystal clear digital with the all-new Extra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Now, I don't have tips like, say, the insiders do in Washington, D.C., so I could give you some sort of tip to make you a boatload of cash on your investments. I don't have that kind of tip, but I do have a smart investment for you. If you got a refund coming back from the IRS and your car's turning yellow, imagine what's floating around inside your house. Tax refunds are starting to roll in. Put your refund toward comfort and efficiency and good, breathable, clean air. Upgrade your house. Instead of wasting it on whatever it is that it'll get wasted on, use it in some way that will benefit you and your family. Before you spend your tax refund on something that won't last, invest in something that you use every single day. A high-efficiency Carrier system from Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team are ready to help you with Carrier rebates, financing options, and ways to save you long-term, even after that investment is made. It'll last for much longer than whatever you would waste it on otherwise. Do yourself a favor and call Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Immaculately designed and manicured backyards can significantly enhance your property's value and visual appeal. And by adding a customized, professionally designed and installed artificial putting green from ATL Turf Co., it'll take your home to the next level. ATL Turf Co.'s custom greens are designed to replicate tournament-level green conditions with realistic ball bounce, roll, and speed, and has a stimp meter of 10 to 12.5. So maybe it's time to consider artificial turf.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turf Co. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given was the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, it's Glenn, and I have a really important update about the housing market. If you tried to sell your home in 2025, did it sell? Maybe you were convinced that it was impossible to sell, much less buy a new home. I have some news that might interest you, and I actually get to brag a bit about my own company, realestateagentsitrust.com. Last year, my company had its best year ever. Our network agents sold more homes. We helped more home buyers than any other year in our 11-year history. In fact, we surpassed $4 billion in real estate transactions since our inception. I wish I could take credit, but I'm not the reason for the success. Working with the sharpest and most competent real estate professionals all across the country and matching them with people just like you in this audience, prospective home buyers and sellers, is the key. In short, we're successful because we're good at what we do, no matter what experts have to say about the conditions of the real estate market. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com. Go there now.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, March 30th, and here are your headlines. A new Vietnam Veterans Memorial was unveiled at Piedmont Park over the weekend, honoring 240 soldiers from Atlanta and Fulton County who never returned home. The ceremony included a parade, ribbon cutting, and speakers from across Georgia, with the memorial featuring a wall engraved with the names of fallen heroes. Despite the stuff he knows, Atlanta is not ranked one of the worst cities in the country for seasonal allergies this year, ranking 34th nationwide. Doctors say pollen levels are still above average, and experts recommend starting treatment as early as possible, as larger pollen counts will continue to worsen symptoms. And finally, in Marietta, the Georgia National Guard has reopened the newly renovated South Cobb Readiness Center after an $11 million upgrade. 78th Troop Command facility will serve as the headquarters for Troop Command units, who will continue to support unit mobilizations and oversee deployment training missions while maintaining steady operational tempo in support of domestic response missions at home. Today's weather will be mostly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 59. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. That way you can pick up anything that you might have missed on any show. The Morning Extra, along with Los and I. The Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, biggest show in all conservative media. Their shows are there on the Extra 106.3 app on demand. And, of course, the afternoon show with the one and only Kimmer. You can always get his shows available there. That's right. That's right. That's the way he does it. He barks a little bit. But there is organization to the chaos. That was the thing that Flounder told me. He was like, this show seems like it's chaotic, but Kimmer knows where he's driving.
I've seen it firsthand.
Even if he goes, it seems like he goes off the rails. Like he knows where he's going, even with his chaos. Like it makes sense to him.
Like driving at night.
Right. You don't get to do that as much as he used to, because his vision isn't as good as it used to be. Neither is Tiger Woods, by the way.
Wait, I didn't say that. Why did you say that?
No, that's what I thought you were saying. Was that not what you're saying?
No, I was just saying it's like sometimes you get a little off track.
Oh, sure. When you're driving at night, yes. Yeah. Of course.
Why did you take it a different way?
I just thought that's
Kimmer.
Yes.
I did not take it that way.
He
did.
He set me up for failure.
Coward.
He set me up for failure. That was Los setting the pitfall and me walking right into it, like Wile E. Coyote style, like pitfall back in the Atari days.
Listen, I could say that Kimmer only drives at night, and you're like, whoa, I don't know.
I can tell you Kimmer drives better than Tiger Woods. I know that for sure, because I don't think Kimmer's ever flipped a car, much less flipped one twice. You know?
But if he has, he did it gracefully. That's much more gracefully.
He did it with the controlled chaos that he does the afternoon show with. Yeah, I would love to know. Wonder if have you ever talked to him about Bryce being in automobile accidents?
No, I have not.
You should. That should be something that comes up.
A couple years ago when, Kimmer got hit by somebody.
But somebody hit him in that case.
Yeah, that was not cool.
We were trying to track him down for a long time. And we ran to the...
we went to our police friends.
But we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure out who hit the Kimmer. And yet that still goes.
The Morning Extra police force.
Yeah, we just do good work. That's all we do. We just try to help, do good work, take care of folks wherever they need to be taken care of, and sometimes we're successful more than others. And in this case, it didn't work out in our favor.
That man does know how to hit a brake. I will say, it's impressive.
Hit a brake?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about? I thought you meant like the brakes in the car. You're talking about hit his brakes on time.
See what happens? Now he thinks Kimmer can't drive, so that's what he's doing. I knew that you meant when he's got his times, he hits them perfectly.
Well, no, we were just talking about driving. Why what other... Bryce?
You're earning the other one nickname now.
What now?
You're earning his nickname for you, the other one.
Yeah, it's the smart one. and the other one. That's right. They deserve it.
Well, I showed the proper respect.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
You maybe, I don't know, maybe as a Navy man,
I have nothing but respect for the Marines.
you go after the Marines a little bit.
No, I have nothing but respect for the Marines.
I mean, the
Marines are
reason why I know the term double dragon is because of how the Navy makes fun of the Marines when they're on the ship.
Whoop. Yeah, when
get a little sick.
When it's a tough day and you've been out to sea and you're not used to being out to sea. Maybe you're a young Marine. And what is USMC, Uncle Sam's Misguided Children? What does Marine stand for? My ass rides in Navy equipment. I mean, I'm just saying. Could be wrong.
He's just pointing it out.
This is just what I've been told.
It's not being disparaging.
No, it's just what I've been told before. I don't know it to be true.
We have a really interesting with our 11-year-old volleyball team. So, two of the parents both spent time in the Navy. There's a parent where her and her husband on our other 11s team. They're both Army. And so I'm searching around for like our Air Force component. We don't have that yet. But because then they can make fun of that person.
Yes, right. Well, that's because they do their PT on stationary bikes. I mean, I when I think of strong PT, that's what I think of the Air Force immediately. Now, Kelvin King probably argue that man that's running for Secretary of State is a friend of the show. He would probably take issue with the fact that I'm pointing out that the Air Force does.
Why do you got to go after Kelvin like that?
No, I'm just saying he would disagree with me. He's the first person in the Air Force. My brother-in-law, Air Force, captain of the Air Force, he would take exception with it too. Maybe you could do some good AI picture of them doing like mean workouts for PT, even if it's not real.
I'll do no such thing, sir.
That's what you should do, though. You help them out.
It's like what you wanted me to make pictures of Kimmer driving at night.
I'm
looking a little bit confused. I didn't want to do that.
I'm going to write that down.
It's Kimmer on the side of the road instead of Tiger Woods.
That's right.
I mean, I did do AI Gallagher for Tug.
I know. See, how come I'm the only one that gets AI?
But Kimmer does take a lot of those pictures. We did have the one where when they had the visit from Boosie's from Bucky's.
Yeah. And Los did a cool AI image video.
He's a great photographer then. If most of those are his pictures, he's a good picture taker.
Yeah. Got a great smile. Yeah, always does good. Anyway, AI is important on this show. And apparently, it's not just important for us. Dana White believes in AI.
So a lot of the leagues out there are finding ways to, let's face it, they're taking a lot of these artists and they're skimming back because you can get AI to produce so many of these images so quickly. And it's a fraction of the cost. Because typically a graphic artist, if you want them to work over an hour, let's just say like on the cheap end, it's $50.
Yeah, $50 an hour.
All right. You and I can have AI from, let's say if we wanted Grok to put it together. Well, we get that as part of already being with X. So I'm spending my $80 a year, and I get all this from Grok. I don't have to worry about a graphic artist. Well, Dana White got asked about now so much of their art, them using AI in order to produce it. And I'll just tell you this. Dana White doesn't suffer any fools at all, ever. All Dana White cares about is, did you watch the fight?
Yeah, bottom line.
Did they fight well?
And did we make a grip of money?
And did we make some money on it? This is the one man that when they told you all sports is shutting down, he's like, we're going to Abu Dhabi.
Not us.
Yeah. No, we're going to keep fighting.
League.
We're going to figure out a way to keep fighting. We're going to figure out a way to keep this thing going. Now, are there legitimate arguments about, hey, maybe fighters should be paid more? Sure. Okay, legit. Have that argument. But somebody decided to ask him about the use of AI. And I really enjoyed this from Dana White.
So I've seen a lot of fans and viewers online commenting or discussing what they perceive as a lot of AI-generated content in the broadcast that maybe wasn't in previous iterations of the UFC. Is this something that's coming with the Paramount deal or just a new direction for the UFC, or do you have any insight on that?
What does that mean?
AI stuff, commercials, part of the promotional content, just AI in the UFC in general. I've seen fans complaining about.
Oh, yeah? What are they complaining about?
I guess I've seen people saying that the UFC should be paying artists instead of using generative AI, stuff like that.
Give me a break. AI is coming, and if we're using AI, who gives a People are upset about it. We should use artists. How about this? Shut the up and watch the fights.
All right. Maybe just because it is pretty caveman, but I love the mealy mouth reporter. There's a part of me that does believe with some of these. All right, somebody at the UFC was sent to go ask this question because it does build the brand. Like,
just giving him the opportunity to respond the way he did.
Yeah.
No,
I would have an intern where I'd be like, here, go out there and ask this question.
Because, dude, I wrote down as I was listening to that, said no one ever. No one has ever cared if they use AI in promotional material or not. No one gives a rip. Just like we were talking about Norma not understanding what's going on with the funding and how ICE has helped. What do they care about? Was I able to get through the airport or not?
Did you make it easy?
That's right.
Do I enjoy the look of this?
No one, just like Norma. They don't care if it's AI generated. Is it appealing when I see it? Does it lead to me being further interested in a fight? That is all those people that watch UFC care about.
Yeah.
Is it a good fight or not? No one cares about the graphics. No one Dude, if they on Braves Vision tonight use a big graphic that was created by AI, will either one of us stop and go, well, I can't enjoy that. That was created by AI.
Not one bit.
Of course not.
And the fun part is you'll never know the difference.
That's right.
Unless Tug Cowart turns into a mouse and runs into a hole.
Then maybe you'll go, well, that doesn't look real.
You might notice at that point.
That doesn't look real. But if it's a graphic of somebody hitting home runs and it shows you where all the home runs have gone, kind of a spray chart looking thing, will you care that it was created by AI versus somebody on the Braves Vision staff? No, you won't.
No. And most times when you're using AI, you're trying to take an image already and enhance it in some way. Now, you might be putting, obviously, a UFC logo or something on it.
Sure.
But you're not having, like when you said a spray chart. Okay, I'm going to use regular computer graphics for a spray chart. That's going to happen. But if I'm trying to build like a promo shot and I need to do it quickly, I'm going to take an image of a player and build a promo shot.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it looks mostly to scale, like no six fingers. Like, we gotten beyond that? We'll get the six fingers on everything?
I think so. I've not seen any of that lately. But you do see some of the lettering being wrong or like a logo not being exactly right. But that's why you use an already generated photograph or something,
right,
and then build around it like you're saying. Like if you wanted the spray chart behind them, maybe you would take that image, put the player image in front of it, and then build whatever the content, whatever you want that image to say as part of the broadcast. No one's going to stop. And unless it says Braves and it's upside down and backwards, or it doesn't even look like the Braves logo, you might notice that.
It just comes back to, just as he's telling you, it's coming. Get used to it. Learn how to use it.
Learn how to use it. Learn how to benefit from it.
Learn how to benefit it. If it saves you, and I've heard this quite a bit from my wife as her industry now with two different companies that have worked with it, they have both made the point. If it saves you hours of time or an hour of time,
why would you not do it?
How much more productive can you be?
You'd be crazy not to.
When we have created some of the AI songs that we have on this show, when we use the Ouija board to get in touch with fake Toby Keith, right, said, will you do this for the Morning Extra to put a boot in your ass?
Come on, Toby.
That took, by the time it was done generating, 5 to 10 minutes. And in the past, that would have taken 4 or 5 hours.
Because we've had artists down the hall at 680 The Fan actually produce, record, edit the whole gambit of the production of the song. And it took a really long time.
It takes a long time to do it.
From a very well-known artist here in town. So, yes, why would you not do something that benefits you and saves yourself time? Dana White's exactly right. And I think that's a good point you make about using that to their benefit to build the brand, to keep Dana White looking like a guy that don't give a rip and loves to be able to answer the way he did.
Fits the entire brand that is UFC.
The leftists were active this weekend with their equity cards and faulty definitions. Next on Xtra 106.3.
Xtra Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, March 30th. The Final Four is now set as the final two teams advanced on Sunday in the men's college basketball tournament. 1 seed Michigan breezed past Tennessee, 95-62, the final in the game of the day in the East region. 1 seed Duke is now out after an improbable last-second turnover and three-point shot that sends them to a 73-72 loss to UConn. Those teams now join Illinois and Arizona in the Final Four Saturday night. The Braves, they took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend despite a 4-1 home loss to end the series on Sunday. The Braves will host the Athletics starting Monday evening for the first of a 3-game series before heading out west to Arizona for a Thursday evening matchup with the Diamondbacks. Again, all of the action being heard on our sister station, 680 The Fan and the Fan app. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, 1 second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
You hear bail bonds and you think one thing: someone to get you out of a jam. But A Second Chance Bail Bonds is built differently. This family-run team, led by brothers Daniel and Ryan Madelon, believes everyone deserves a second chance. And they prove it every day through the A Second Chance Community Foundation. They support local nonprofits, partner with law enforcement, and stay active in community programs, food drives, and safety initiatives. Bottom line, they don't just work in the community, they're part of it. Learn more at a2cfoundation.org. That's a2cfoundation.org.
Of all the radio ads I've ever done, I only advertised one thing that I think saved my life: my CPAP machine, sleep apnea. And I found the best CPAP dealer out there ever, Roddy at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. CPAPsETC.com. Everything you need, all the supplies, shipped anywhere at a price that often beats insurance. CPAPsETC.com. Go take a peek now.
All right, I got a question for you. How much did you spend cooling your home last summer? Hey, it's only the Kimmer. How you doing? Because if you've got those same old windows, you're about to do it all over again. That's why I keep talking about my friend Jeff at Peach State Windows. I've known and worked and trusted Jeff for years and years. He's been serving Georgia homeowners for like 5 decades. He knows what works when the heat cranks up, and here it comes. In Georgia, air conditioning is a major expense. Your old windows are a big reason why. They let the heat pour in and force your system to work even harder. Jeff's solution's a good one. Peach State Windows with heat reflective glass. It helps block that heat. Right now, 8 premium double hung Energy Star windows installed for just $39.95. 0% financing for 12 months. There's no reason to keep handing money to the power company. Go to peachstatewindows.com. Here's the number: 770-485-8011. Peach State Windows, keeping the cool air in. peachstatewindows.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Need a break from all the political talk? Tune into Holy Crap It's Sports with Pete Davis every weekday at 5:20 on The Kimmer Show. It's your daily dose of what's hot in the sports world, from the field to the locker room, with Pete's unfiltered opinion and a side of laughs. It's smart, it's funny, it's sports with edge. Holy Crap It's Sports. Catch it at 5:15 only on The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Earlier, we talked about equity cards and listening to leftists fight over who had the bigger victim status, whose equity card had more value than the others. And they were fighting. This was at a leadership conference for for a political party up in Canada. And I mean, it was the silliest. It sounded like second graders arguing over nothing in the world. I'm supposed to be first because I was treated more poorly than you were.
We're on to the con section now, actually.
What's up? Yeah, that's right. On to the con. Yeah, so we're moving. This is the pro section. This is the con section. We're going to the con section. I mean, it was just a silly argument through and through. But that didn't top the list of craziness over the weekend, Los.
By the way, because when you brought up that piece of audio, and I thought it was hilarious to see them all arguing over who was the biggest victim, I think the only thing that's ever jumped out to me that was as funny, what is the country where they do that horrible yell and dance where they start screaming as part of like some sort of dance thing? Anyway.
A haka?
Yeah.
Australia?
Maybe that's okay.
Let me look this up.
I want you to look it up. When one of the people's trying to speak and he thinks that it's going to bust out, and he's like, no, like, come on, like, let's keep this together.
I know what you're talking. I think it's Australia.
And then as it starts, he rolls his eyes. He's like, oh my God, we have to do this again.
Oh my heavens.
That is one of my favorite, when you talk about being in front of a bunch of people and trying to claim victim status. And all he's trying to do is, we just want to keep the meeting together. Nobody do the haka. Okay, nobody get into it. And then suddenly he's like, son of a bee!
They've done it anyway.
They've done it again. They started doing the haka. Well, all right, in this case, this was from another state assembly. And they were trying to put together, you know how we talk about like a National Women's Month, National Women's Day, and that stuff. Well, the state was trying to recognize a National Women's Month. And in this case, as this was being put forth in parliamentary procedure, there was a question that was asked. And at that point, it ended the discussion of whether or not they would have this honor. Take a listen.
A battle over biology in battleground Pennsylvania, where state Democrats withdrew a House resolution honoring March as National Women's Month. All it took was a Republican lawmaker asking for a simple definition of what a woman is. The vote was expected to be quick and largely symbolic, but it was polled after this awkward 25-second break.
Madam Speaker, this amendment is very straightforward and clear. It defines what a woman actually is because we do know what that is. Thank you.
The resolution is temporarily over.
Well, there you go. They pulled the whole thing. The Republican who put forth the amendment says defining a woman as having double X chromosomes should not be controversial.
Or difficult.
The Republican brought, well, we know what a woman is, so let's, and they're like, no more discussion.
And they couldn't even pass a symbolic vote.
It's a resolution. It's not even real legislation.
It's symbolic.
It's just hey.
And it was.
We're acknowledging.
Symbolic. It was symbolic of what the Democrat Party is. Freaking Looney Tunes.
Good for that person.
Yeah.
To put it to the resolution, let's define what a woman is before we vote on this, and that ended the debate.
Women's Month. Oh, my gosh. And the laughter in the background, that was us.
Well, because everyone else in that state assembly had to have been thinking to themselves, seriously, we can't even vote on a resolution because you won't define what a woman is?
Dude, like, how bass-backwards are you?
It's almost like you put it together and you go, watch this. I bet you they won't even let us vote on this. Like, I mean, we should, right? I don't. You think they'll let us vote on it? Yeah, they probably will. But if they don't, I mean, that'll be hilarious. And it's not going to continue. What?
What about the ladies? What about the women that we're trying to honor here?
Like somebody exchanged $5 over that.
Dude.
Like, see, I told you.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get up there and derail this whole thing with one simple question that a sixth grader in a biology class should be able to answer.
The person just put forth as part of the resolution, let's define what a woman is by her chromosomes, and that was it.
Seemed like you would want to know what a woman is before you start celebrating them, right?
Let's make sure we talk about XX and XY, and as long as we've gotten there at a chromosomal level, well, then we can acknowledge a National Women's Month, day, year, whatever you want to. Right. And that ended the discussion.
Can you imagine being in the party that was putting this forward, the Democrat Party, and then how embarrassed you would be after it was all over that you had to cancel it because you're too ignorant of biology or not willing to accept biology, not accept real and factual evidence and information.
Not wanting to go down a scientific road. Instead, remember, being a woman is just if you feel like you're a woman. Right?
Yeah.
That's
because there's days I wake up feeling like a
told
woman.
you during the Biden administration, I told you I identified as a black female lesbian.
That's right.
And that was what kept me underneath the radar.
Yeah,
that was
good.
And then I would just say, when anyone wanted to argue it, I would say, well, that's my truth.
And you can argue my truth.
No, that's my truth.
Dude, I just saw something, the evolution scale where it goes from ape to all the way to human. Like, go back, something has gone dreadfully wrong. The man in the middle of the evolution cycle has done an about face, headed back toward to apes.
Typically, it's when we hit the trans areas when they're like,
yeah, that's exactly
full
what it is.
stop. This is what's happened.
Looks like a woman
it's
with a
time
beard.
to go back.
Something has gone dreadfully wrong. Dude, it's hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But it is so fitting for the Democrat Party. It was so fitting for them over the weekend with their No Kings protests. When the Congresswoman, what's her name? The one that said Donald Trump will never be a king. And Tim Burchett quote tweeted it and said, well, what are y'all doing all weekend long then? If we know that that's the case, what are y'all doing all weekend long? Wasting your time, I suppose.
By the way, it was in New Zealand when you got the random haka.
Yeah. Ripping up the paper.
And now everyone has to get involved. And every other of the lawmakers are like, oh, my God.
Are we doing this really?
Why are we going down this road again?
And it's a bunch of screaming and hollering. And
like, here's what they start doing. Now they're all loud and they're doing a dance.
If 6 votes opposed.
Good Lord. This is the craziest faces I've ever seen on people.
I'm telling you, this is the best one where this guy, he's up at the front and he's got on a suit, green tie, and all he's trying to do is get through this. And then suddenly the woman who's speaking at the microphone suddenly busts out in and now I'm in a haka.
And she got like weird paint on her face.
She's got a tattoo, traditional tattoo.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. But so what's going to happen is then, as they're just trying to get through parliamentary procedure, here it goes.
Goodness. And then it devolves from there and goes over.
And the guy who's just trying to run everything is like, oh, God. Like, again?
Oh, my gosh. This is so funny. It's like the people that say, we need a woman president. Next time you hear that, challenge them. What exactly is a woman? And then we can decide if we need a woman.
Look at this poor guy. He's just up there. He's like, there's nothing to be done now.
Like, I'm done with this.
It's like you just have to wait for them to finish, right?
Right. Just you go, maybe take a bathroom break. Go get yourself a Coca-Cola. Maybe pack crackers and just wait them out.
It's just what happens,
dude. What a disaster!
That is the only other one when you start talking about these parliamentary procedures. And, I'm going to identify myself as this, so that's why I have the floor. Yeah. Well, but I'm this, so I should have the floor.
When you get your equity cards, like that seems
my equity card was offended.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. My equity card has more victimhood status than yours does.
So I should have the floor.
I get to go first. I get to speak first.
What would be the American equivalent of the haka in like Congress? Like what would somebody do?
Gosh, a square dance? I don't know. I don't even have a good example.
Well, it would have to be something that just derails all discussion.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
Like the shriek of a crazy No Kings protester, maybe?
I mean, the only thing we've had in recent years was the use of Hunter Biden being naked on the floor.
Yeah, when Marjorie Taylor Greene held out that big picture.
Or when we had Lauren Boebert, who during congressional testimony had taken a picture of Hillary Clinton and posted it. Mm-hmm. And she got all wildly upset, like, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Dude, I just have no interest in any of that stuff. No, and I think most Americans, you talk about Norm and Norma, we keep going back to them today. I don't think they have any interest in it either.
By the way, when we had redistricting in the state of Texas, you remember what the Democrats did?
Fled.
They left.
They fled.
They flew out of the state.
And then finally came back, and it was passed anyway. It's all ceremonial. It's all temper tantrum, just like the No Kings protest. Lord, we'll have to live and find another day. Maybe tomorrow. What do you say?
Sounds good.
So, Beck is up next. And for Los and Bryce, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now. You hear?
The Morning Extra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Extra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Grace Point School.
Thanks, Tara. I'm Liz Powell, head of school at Grace Point. We are a Christian school in Marietta that serves dyslexic learners in grades 1 through 8. Grace Point School is accredited by the Academy of Orton Gillingham Practitioners and Educators, as well as the Southern Association of Independent Schools. We are a full immersion program and remediate dyslexia.
As a partner and a parent, I can tell you firsthand, Grace Point is a game changer.
As you know, Tara, early intervention makes a difference. Our teachers celebrate the gifts and strengths of our students. We are currently accepting applications for the 26-27 school year. Come learn more about our small class sizes, individual attention, excellent teachers, and one-of-a-kind community.
If your child is a dyslexic learner, reach out to Grace Point today. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
I'm Rick Jackson. My dad abandoned us. My mom was an alcoholic, so I left the projects. Shoe shining, ticket scalping, vacuum sales. I found purpose in work and built a $3 billion business. Like President Trump, I don't owe anybody anything.